Oh, hello. Happy Tuesday. New stream week. Hope all is good. I am in pain. The physical therapy yesterday definitely messed me up, and I have not recovered. Wah. I am trying to, but physical therapy messed me up. And I'm not recovering. I'm doing my best to do the stretches and exercise and such. It hurts still. I can't help that. Nothing I can do. I'm working to fix myself. I'm meeting them tomorrow, so it'll be good to tell her that that I still feel the effects of yesterday's session. So we'll see. Sorry, I'm just reading something quick. Something I gotta keep an eye on. Blah blah blah. Yeah, it is what it is with that. I'm working. I was just doing the stretches or the exercise on the ground while the timer was going off. So that doesn't help my pain. It is what it is. I just gotta keep doing it, and we're gonna figure out where the root of the problem is, eventually. I can only say for this week, stream should be normal this week. Next week will not be so, but I'll talk about it then. And yeah, just Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday. We keep it going the way we're doing it. Definitely make some progress in all our games. I'm feeling good. Let's see. So I'm ready to get back into Ace Attorney. I am excited. We're on Case 3 trial. Or episode 3 trial, the first part of the trial. Because I'm sure this is going to take multiple days to solve. I can't imagine we do this in one sitting, which I kind of like that they go back to... Because the first game was so weirdly segmented. Like, episode 1 was just a case, which is normal, but episode 2 was just talking. Episode 3 was just a case. Episode 4 was the first one that was actually a investigation and a case. Like, it took 4 episodes to get to a normal flow. And even then, the cases were only one day. So this one's doing much better. And I'm like... So we last left off. There was a meeting between our German scientist. Well, not German scientist, because he moved to Germany. But our defendant and Baron von Zieks. And it seems he has some kind of plan in place, which is why he's specifically the one that's being the prosecution for this case. didn't want any other prosecutor trying to find his old friend guilty. No, no. I'm gonna keep an eye on. All right, October 23rd, 8:52 a.m. Defendant's antechamber. I can't believe it's been 6 months since I was last allowed to work in court. And now here I am, back at the Old Bailey. Mr. Naruhodo! Good morning, Professor Hairbrain. I don't understand! It doesn't make any sense! The atmospheric pressure in here is off the charts! I've never felt anything like it! It's crushing me! I feel it every time I'm here. That gravity. Well, this is Britain's highest court. But are you telling me it's fitted with some kind of device that can actually control air pressure? I think it's probably all in the mind. Oh my goodness. Nope. Yes, well, you won't let me down, will you, Mr. Naruhodo? I'm counting on you at today's trial. To save my life! To save the secret of my super high voltage instantaneous ignition machine from being made public! Yes, I understand. I know what I have to do. I have to establish that the explosion 2 days ago was nothing more than an unfortunate accident. Well, I'm sure there's nothing to worry about, really. Justice will prevail. I'm pretty sure it's not an accident because of the crossbow. My commiserations, Mr. Naruhodo. You appear to have been numbered with the most tiresome case here. Oh! Mr. Sholmes! Whoops, I read that wrong. History. My commiserations, Mr. Naruhodo. You appear to have been numbered with the most tiresome case here. Mr. Sholmes, I didn't expect to see you here. That was very mean, Runa. Leave me alone at home with Hurley. It took me at least an hour to wake him. Is it? Are you? Sherlock Sholmes? I didn't think I could pronounce it that way. Indeed, sir, I am he, Sherlock Sholmes. Oh, I've heard all about your exploits even whilst living in Germany. Yes, Friends magazine's on sale in Germany too. This month's seller was sublime. Your deduction in the Adventure Soul Blaze was wonderful. Yes, a memorable case indeed. It concerned a snake, I seem to recall. No, that was the Speckled Band. Well, thank you for coming. I do appreciate your support. I'm sorry to disappoint you, my dear fellow, but I'm afraid I can't stay. Oh, I have urgent business at Manitou Spells. You mean your waxwork job? No, the waxwork deduction, of course. Madame has engaged my services. So you're trying to get to the bottom of that ransom note, are you? The week's wages depend on it, as does the state return to the waxwork, naturally. As such, I intend to give it my undivided attention. Oh, well, never mind then. I understand. Of course, with my skills of observation and reasoning, so the method will be as easy as proverbial pie. I shall return forthwith. For until I solve the case, I shall have no money to afford a pie of any description. Oh man. Just no money for anything ever. Oh no. Just not allowed to have money in life. Big sads. Oh, you must absolutely give your full attention, Hurley. Quite, Iris, quite. But life is riddled with irony, you know. Whenever I give something my full attention, I have a quite insatiable desire for a pie. One of the user's intractable mysteries, you might say. Oh yes, quite, definitely, absolutely, I totally understand. Is someone a little starstruck? Very starstruck. She's the very best of luck, Professor Hairbrain. Oh, ooh, why thank you. Before I depart, Mr. Naruto, a word in your ear, if you please. What's this about? Let's get. As you are remarkably little grounding in science, I feel I ought to inform you. As compelling as this super high voltage instantaneous kinesis hypothesis may be, a practical implementation, such as was attempted by the professor of the Great Expedition, is quite impossible. But the professor's demonstration was a success. Yes, it would appear that he fervently believes it was. I read Professor Bunnybrain's paper on about it too, Runo. I have to say. I'm sure it can't be done. It could barely be done theoretically, let alone practically. So he's completely barking up the wrong tree? But how can an experiment that had no possibility of succeeding in fact succeed? That's contradictory. Exactly. And it's that contradiction that will be at the heart of this trial, I've no doubt. What's that supposed to mean? A picture, Bluey? What? I'm no picture. I'm a full 11 band here. I wiggle. Oh, precious. That's what you mean. Alright, I'll take that. Hello, Devil. How you doing? Now, I must hurry along. I wish you the best of luck, my dear fellow. See you later, Hurley. I bid you adieu. Ah, no boobs. Well, looks like you're on your own today, Runo. But chin up, you can do it. Oh, what about you, Iris? No, I'm afraid I can't help. I have something I need to do. I see. Hee. Couldn't be a big surprise for you when you find out what it is. That sounds ominous. Counsel for the defense and the defendant. Court is about to be in session. Make your way into the courtroom at once. We're on our way. So first time I'm doing this alone. An experiment that the laws of science say can't possibly succeed. And a scientist who's convinced that it did. That's the riddle you have to unlock here, Ryunosuke. That's the key to this case. Let's see how this plays out. 23rd, 9/10. Is that a brand new jury? Do we actually have normal people? In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. We are sitting today for the public trial of Professor Albert Hairbrain. I now call upon the counsels for the prosecution and defense to declare their willingness to proceed. The prosecution is ready. The defense is ready, my lord. I'm 6 months out of practice. What's more? Oh, I'm without Sada-san today. You can do this, buddy. Is it just my imagination, or does the air in here feel even more oppressive than usual? So, I must say I recollect the victim of this case all too well, Mr. O.D. Asman. Mr. Asman was well known as a financier, though that was merely a front for his diverse criminal activities. It was only a month ago that the man appeared in court prosecuted by you, Lord Van Zeus. The jury unanimously found him not guilty. Because every member of the jury had been bribed, by the sound of it. These powerful London criminals are prepared to go to extreme lengths to keep their freedom. But 2 days ago on 21st October, Mr. Osmond met his end. The work of the Reaper, was it? No. If that is how your lordship would demand it, describe divine retribution. But the fact remains that Mr. Asmon's death... Chug, chug! Asmon's death was caused by drowning in water that an owl forced him to drink. Yes. I drink. I drink. Fact remains that Mr. Asmon's death was a direct result of the actions of the accused, Professor Hairbrain. Very well then. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you have been selected at random to represent the will of the people. Are the six of you ready to fill your societal duty? Oh my god! We have new people! We have new people, Naomi! Oh my goodness! I'm most gratified to have been selected to carry out this important civic duty, my lord. What is that third... I'm sorry, but what is this third guy? He immediately sticks out, just from seeing half of him. To have a man's fate in the palm of my hand? Oh gosh, oh golly! It sends shivers down my spine. Oh my god, it's a magician. The hedger is Jin! Yeah, you're not wrong, you're not wrong. We got a magician, science experiments, magic, conjuring, tricks, courtroom trials, nothing more than performances. Oh, any spurious scholar that defiles the reputation of science deserves to hang. The moustache. What the fuck? Impressive.
We have to listen to what's said on both sides of the fence and, then settle on one. That's it, isn't it?
Oh my god! It's the sleeping cop from... It's the sleeping cop! Alright, so we go... So, technically, one person, but I'm glad it's a mostly original jury this time. Actually, it's completely original. Don't... What's up like this in my day? What's up like this at all? That's the police killer Ottermole lookalike. Again. Put the gun away, sir! And he's exhausted as ever, it seems. Oh, he's not gonna know anything. Oh, jeez.
Now, as I'm sure you are all aware, the incident we are here to judge today tragically took place at the Great Exhibition, shortly after its opening.
Though the death toll could have been far worse. With the exception of the victim, no one was killed. Nevertheless, the dream of the science being exhibited rapidly turned into a nightmare for the spectators.
A tragic turn of events, and as such the eyes of all London, no, of the whole world will be on this trial. It's our duty to reach a swift and just conclusion, I feel.
Well, that's not good for me.
So, your opening statement, please, Lord Von Zeeks.
At the heart of this incident is technology never before demonstrated anywhere in the world.
One of science's developments, I take it. The government is keen to capitalize on the Great Expedition to improve Britain's technological advantage.
The technology being demonstrated by the accused was described as super high voltage instantaneous kinesis.
Good lord!
It's designed to disassemble human subjects using extremely high voltage electricity and beam them instantly to another location where they have subsequently reassembled.
Is such a thing even within the realms of possibility?
Well, I don't believe it, that's for sure.
Just assembling people with electricity? My goodness, how shocking!
Ha! The whole idea is absurd! The hypothesis would never stand up to scrutiny! Sir, I believe you are a fellow of the Royal Society, are you not? An expert in your field? I am, and my word on the matter can be considered final! Instantaneous kinesis is poppycock!
So this expert and Mr. Sholmes are in agreement. It's impossible.
What is the prosecution's view on the matter?
Pop. The prosecution would assert... I said poppycock. Puppy. Puppycock. I didn't say puppy. I know I didn't say puppy. I said poppy. Poppycock. Maybe it was from how I was saying it with the voice. Rah. Oh well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, Naomi. Don't worry about it. The prosecution would assert that the accused's instantaneous kinesis demonstration was a success. Ah. So our main thing to prove is that it did not succeed. What? What rot? Order! Order! The professor's hypothesis is currently under investigation by the British government. If it is deemed to have merit, a substantial research grant would be made available. I can be your daddy. I mean, what? The accused made use of the invention built on his new hypothesis to take Mr. Asmund's life. In order to be the sole benefactor of the grant.
I had to do it, Naomi. It's your fault, not mine. Blah, blah, blah.
But... This disastrous demonstration was no accident. It was carefully designed from the outset to end the life of the victim. What a take.
Thank you, Lord Von Zieks. Prosecution stance is clear. But you will now bring forth witnesses to substantiate your claims.
Gladly, my lord. Oh, the cape's already off. Bailiff, show the first witnesses to the stand. Oh, Hairbrain and the detective. Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court.
Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard's Homicide Division. I was on duty at the demonstration on the day in question and in charge of the following investigation.
I can't get his voice down at all. How many poses did you just go? Albert Hairbrain, scientist! You were born in England, but have been carrying out research in Germany in recent years, correct? Yes, that's right. After graduating from university here in Britain, I went to work in Germany and made an amazing discovery. Which is what brought me back. I had demonstrated my incredible hypothesis is a great competition. What you demonstrated was incredible, alright. Incredible explosion. But the science was a success. The instantaneous kinesis worked. Everyone saw it. They must have done. Yes, there was a terrible accident, but the demonstration of my hypothesis was a success. Well, that much is undeniable, as shown in this photograph taken by the forensic investigation team. He got pierced. I see the lights in the way. Well, I can just look at my laptop instead. He got pierced in the heart. Yikers. That's bad.
This was taken inside the Crystal Tower, I take it. The centerpiece of the exhibition, no less.
That's right, my lord. Seems the victim rammed straight into it.
I see. Very well, submit the photograph as evidence.
Fingerprint of the victim taken after he ostensibly been beamed to the Crystal Tower shows an apparent stab wound to the chest. As the courts heard, the victim of the incident was Mr. Odie Asman. There have been a number of allegations made against the man, but putting them aside for the time being, he was the man who financed the research for the experiment and the demonstration itself.
I see. So to summarize the situation, the defendant is accused of taking the life of the man who funded his work. Would that be correct?
Exactly. But couldn't it be the explosion was caused by some malfunction in the apparatus used for the demonstration? That's right! That must be it! My splendid machine! My poor splendid machine! You saw it yesterday, didn't you? You can't even examine the wreckage thanks to the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act. What? The wreckage? The wreckage?
But that being the case, how can the facts be established? How can it possibly be determined whether this was an accident or a deliberate and malicious act?
I don't know. I really have no clue right now. Extremely simple, my lord.
I beg your pardon?
I don't know. Because the main thing we have to prove is that the science didn't actually happen. Which probably means... we have to go by science logic. So, my assumption here, I'm just going to say this now. My assumption is that... so we thought it was the waxwork that got stolen, right? And your theory was that the waxwork was the one used in the machine. Assuming nobody checked to make sure it was just a regular person inside. Because we don't even know what the waxwork looked like. So that's the other issue. So it had to have been a body double. But you would have to precisely put down the body where it could realistically be shot from. That takes a lot of predicting and analyzing. Like, there's a lot of play with this. Isn't that right, witness? What? Sorry? Me? No, your neighbor.
Yes, sir. It was murder, plain and simple. Anyone could state that with complete certainty.
What? How can he possibly think that?
Thank you, Inspector. I think we had better proceed to formal testimony. You will explain to the court on what grounds you claim this experiment to have been a front for murder.
I have no idea what this testimony is going to be. The corpse that went crashing through the Crystal Tower had a broken neck. Oh. I made a minor miscalculation in the angle of the beam projection, that's all. That was my mistake.
But the post-mortem examination revealed another injury.
A fatal wound. There was a lesion in his chest where he'd clearly been stabbed by something sharp right in the heart. The victim was killed before he went anywhere. And this fella's the only one who could have done it. Ah. It might not necessarily be the murder weapon, though. That's the thing. I have a feeling that the crossbow, the only thing that did was make the machine malfunction. I think that's all it really comes down to.
Extraordinary business. In addition to suffering a broken neck, the victim was stabbed in the heart?
Information I would really like to have heard from someone other than the judge. The coroner says death would have been all but instant for a wound like that. You could say, in fact, that the victim was killed twice by the accused. No, and no! That couldn't be further from the truth! I have here the experiment plan document that was submitted to the security team. Okay. The victim stood himself inside something called the birdcage, ready to be beamed instantly. It's the second level of the Crystal Tower, about 25 yards away. Yona! Hello. The experiment did not go according to plan, however. As the machine was put into operation, there was a large explosion. It's okay, Yona. Huh. The blast caused the beam transmitter to point higher than intended. Oh. Accordingly, the kinesis resulted in the birdcage materializing in mid-air, from where it subsequently fell, crashing through the glass of the Crystal Tower's large round window. So, okay, alright, no. So we need to assume, because you gotta remember, the experiment is not supposed to work. So this entire framework is assuming that the experiment can work, and did. Gotta remember that part. So I'll make sure. My word, one assumes the victim's neck was broken upon impact with the tower then. I'm so sorry, I didn't mean for this to happen. The machine was just too powerful. But honestly, really, I swear it was just an accident. A terrible accident. Unfortunately, that excuse can't save you. No, not considering the sharp murder weapon that pierced the victim's heart. Murder weapon? What are you saying? This is the autopsy report submitted by the coroner. The prosecution would like it entered into the court record. Request is granted, counsel. Alright, autopsy for the victim, Mr. Asman. His neck was broken from the impact of a violent fall, and he was stabbed in the chest with a sharp object. I was there in person, you know. I saw the whole ludicrous performance. And the only other person on the stage with Mr. Osmond was the disgraceful excuse for a scientist.
But really, by all accounts, it must have been him.
Hard to think otherwise, really. I forgot his voice already.
Well, counsel for the defense, proceed with the cross-examination, please.
Oh, yes, my lord. I need to focus here. It's been a while. Let's go! Alright.
A front for murder.
This flower had a broken neck. Hold on. I want to look at... this? Well, that's a block, so it wouldn't be an arrow? There's nothing really apparent. Like, this is literally the only thing we can look at here, but it's hard to tell what that is. Alright, so let's see. Diesel victim, Odie Asman, 47, British, time of death, around 2:20. Cause of death, hemorrhage of a wound to the chest that pierced the heart, inflicted by a sharp object. Broken vertebrae, most likely resulting from impact after a sudden fall from considerable height. And nothing really Wait, what? Strap buckle. This? I can't tell. Oh! Oh, okay, I'm dumb. It's the blood impact. It was... I couldn't tell because where the blood is and where that is right next to each other. So I thought this was stabbing the heart. Alright, I don't know what stabbed him then. Fine. Alright, let's just start pressing.
Hold it!
Are you suggesting that's because he fell from considerable height? Exactly, which highlights something else about this whole rum business. What's that? The fact that the instantaneous kinesis itself was a success. Ah! After the explosion, the cage with the fella inside suddenly appeared out of nowhere in midair. So although the experiment ended in a disaster, the so-called instantaneous kinesis did actually occur. Remind us, Professor, what was the cause of the fatal disaster? I made a minor miscalculation of the angle of the beam projection, that's all. That was my mistake.
Hold it!
So the angle of projection is critical, is it? You calculated yourself personally? Absolutely! The calculation is far too complicated for anyone but me to carry out. Only you got it wrong, didn't you? Yes, that's right! That's the point! The calculation is so complicated, even I can make a mistake. I mean, I can make a mistake. Do people fall for that brazen confidence? I should try it. I took into account the subject's height and weight, the wind direction, the ambient temperature. I considered every possible variable, so I just don't understand how this could have happened. Obviously, then, you had to include the weight of the clothes Mr. Aston was wearing at the time, I suppose? Ah! Crackling comets! The answer should have been there! 3! So much for safety first. The 3 must be for safety third. Alright. We revealed another injury, fatal wound.
Hold it!
Another fatal injury, you say? That doesn't make any sense. I didn't think I'd have to spell this out, but here we go. Just because there were 2 fatal wounds doesn't mean I'm saying the victim had 2 lives to lose, does it? 2, right? Obviously, at first we thought the bloke had died due to his spine snapping in half as well. But you're saying that's not the case? You get your answer once I finish my fish and chips. Don't keep butting in every few seconds. Well, we all know that's a bottomless bag. It actually... They even say it's a bottomless bag. It never ends. It's canonically always full. Wah. Fish and chips are black magic. The victim plummeted 30 feet into a glass tower. It would be reasonable to assume that as the cause of death. Right, that's what we all thought. But it was a red herring, wasn't it? There's a lesion in his chest where he'd clearly been stabbed by something sharp right in the heart.
Hold it!
The defense knew nothing of this crucial information. The prosecution received this report from the forensic investigation team only this morning. That was the first we knew of it as well. I can only apologize for the impossibility of informing the defense. Sarcastic and insincere. Thanks. So what was the nature of this sharp object? On the accused's tools that were in use at the demonstration, one is of particular interest. This. Ah, yes, that would appear to be some kind of screwdriver, would it? Ah! There he is! My trusty little companion, Andrew! What? Andrew, of course. Ah, do you know each other already? He's one of my dear friends, like all my tools. I've named them all, you know. We're one big happy family. Andrew's my flathead screwdriver, of course. His brother Michael is a crosshead. But it would appear your beloved Andrew has a red stain on his shank. Ah, that isn't... It's blood, beyond all reasonable doubt. No! And that's not all. The long, sharp object this Andrew fellow is completely consistent with the victim's wound. Ah. What? Order! The court will enter this friend of the defendant as evidence. Ah, that was the one we found at the scene, right? Trace of blood at the tip and the match to the victim's wound. So one of Professor Hairbrain's tools is the murder weapon? Great. I don't know if he went anywhere, and this fella's the only one that could have done it. Alright, let's take a look. This is blood. Mr. Asmon's no doubt. What's the problem with looking at murder weapons? I've seen this unusually shaped handle before. Same screwdriver that was lodged in the grill on the floor of the kinesis machine. Oh! Important information, so I should definitely make a note of it. Oh! Okay, so... So we saw 2 of these. Huh. Running through the grill in the base of what remains of the kinesis machine. Oh wait, did we get... is there anything... Yeah, I don't see it right now. I can't even open this at the moment. And I don't think they're the same. Hold it! Not sure right now. What grounds do you have for saying that? You really need to ask. There were only 2 people on that public experimentation stage in front of the whole crowd. The victim, Mr. Odie Asmon, and the accused, Professor Hairbrain. And we know for certain that before the experiment, the victim was alive. That's right! I saw him with my own eyes! Furthermore, following the explosion and kinesis, nobody went anywhere near the body. In other words, only someone else on stage with the victim could possibly have done it all? Yeah? Excuse me! And no marks. Professor Hairbrain, do you have some information that may be relevant here? Professor! Ah! Sorry! I was calculating the optimal coefficient of electrolysis to separate molecules in the human body! And the witness stand is the best place for that. It seemed as though you might have something to say about Inspector Griswold's last remark. Ah! I was right out of breath! Yes, that's right, of course! He just said nobody else could have done it, didn't he? Yeah, that's right. Who else could have stabbed the victim, eh? I don't know, but there's no way that I could possibly have stabbed Mr. Asmon, as you say. Eh? Explain, please, Professor. Of course. This cold-hearted policeman may not be aware, I suppose. But humans are warm-blooded mammals with blood running continuously through their veins. I had heard. Then surely you see, if I plunged something the size of Andrew into the man's chest, the whole stage would have been a bloodbath. No, a blood swimming pool. Ah, but thousands of Londoners were watching me at the time. And yet not one of them claims to have seen a swimming pool of blood. Well, no. I suppose not. You see? Not one.
True, I didn't see anything like that.
Well done, Professor. That was a great counter-argument. Hey! The witness actually did something good early on. Wow. Don't actually... For once, our witness actually did something good. At the beginning. At, like, the first testimony. I don't know. He said nobody else was on stage. And he was the one running the stage. Order, order. Pray forgive the discourtesy if I savor a drop from my hallowed chalice to accompany my old friend's adducing. Here's to you, Albert. Oh, you're too kind, Barack. But I'm really not attached to you, on you. Whoa, there goes another one. No, you're not. No? You neglect to mention one crucial possibility. I have? A particular situation in which very little bleeding would result from a stab wound. Ah, of course. Inspector, enlighten the court, please. Yes, sir. Where are they going with this?
Very well. You will amend your formal testimony now, Inspector Gregson.
Oh, okay. The weapon the victim was stabbed with must have been left in his body whilst he was beamed through the air. I guess we'll just press for now.
Hold it!
Why would you think that, Inspector?
With any wound, it's only when you pull the weapon out that profuse bleeding occurs. Whilst it's still lodged in the body, acts as a stopper of sorts, for want of a better word.
I see. True, it was on... If it's the same screwdriver that's on stage, then it was pulled out.
You don't need a medical degree to be aware of that fact.
It's common knowledge for any investigator. Where's Susato-san when you need her?
If you ask me, this bloke masked what he was doing from view with his body before stabbing Asman in the chest.
Then he beamed the victim off the stage with his fancy device, the screwdriver still where he planted it. I would never do such a thing! Not for my precious tools! I would never use them for such dirty work! You only use tools for the intended purpose! That's common knowledge for any scientist! The fact remains, the lack of blood at the scene can easily be explained, as the prosecution has demonstrated. So that's all the testimony I have to work with. I had no idea the victim had stabbed. That changes everything. Did Von Zieks keep that to himself until now on purpose to gain the advantage? Oh well, I suppose all I can do is press these witnesses for as much new information as possible. Yeah, I was poking through the grill, the base.
Objection!
Yep. You see that while the weapon remains in the body, there's very little bleeding. Is that unequivocal?
Look, there was no blood in the experimentation stage, even though that's where the fellow was stabbed. The only explanation for that is if the screwdriver was still in his body, stopping any heavy bleeding.
It's common medical knowledge, my learned friend, even on your side of the world. Yes, but about this screwdriver. The thing is, we actually saw it at the scene ourselves. on the experimentation stage. What? It was on the floor by the wreckage of the machine, poking through a metal grill. I went to pick it up, but the detective here stopped me. Isn't that right, Inspector Gregson? Ah, well, now you come to mention it, yes. Inspector, are we to understand you permitted defense counsel to investigate? That you contravened the special dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act? No, not at all. I wouldn't do that. I just let him look, nothing more. It was very clear he wasn't to touch a thing. Yes, that's true. The screwdriver was in plain sight on the stage. But it shouldn't have been, should it? What are you getting at? If this tool had been in the victim's body when the victim was beamed away by the machine, then it shouldn't have still been on the stage. Ah! That's right. It should have been beamed across to the Crystal Tower along with Mr. Asman. And been found still lodged in the victim's chest. What kind of sound did I just make?
Order, order. How do you explain this, Inspector?
I don't. It looks as though everything that the victim had on his person moved with him when he was beamed. The screwdriver was still in his chest when the instantaneous kinesis occurred. Obviously, that should have been beamed to the destination as well. You. This is a strange situation. Even though people are saying that this instantaneous kinesis is a scientific impossibility, we're still basing arguments on the assumption that it did actually take place. Alright, time to tighten the screws here. Ah, good one. Good one. My lord, if the prosecution is unable to explain this inconsistency in its argument, we can only conclude that testimony given in support cannot be relied upon. Van Seeks is stumped.
Hold it!
Oh god, that was so high pitched. I'm glad I gave him a high pitched voice.
Hold it!
You have something to say, witness?
Yes! I know it! It bears out! The equations hold!
Meister Naruhodo, don't worry! About what?
Without delving into the details, there is no inconsistency.
What?
Even after it had been lodged in Mr. Asman's chest, my trusty tool wouldn't have moved, and it remained on the stage as consistent with my calculations. What?
Well, he did something good, then he ruined it. Good reaction. Good reaction. It would seem your illusions have been shattered. Clearly, we should hear the accused's explanation. Or should I say, this brilliant scientist's explanation? Just when I found an inconsistency in the prosecution's argument. Scientists.
Very well, the defendant will testify again. Provide us with the scientific explanation as to why the inconsistency asserted by the defense fails to hold.
I'm trying to protect you, dude! You're making the case worse! But man, this is the bad kind of scientists! They're going to prove their thing to the very end! Even if it hurts them! Or even if it kills them!
Alright.
In the name of Apollo, I will, my lord!
Oh, it's just him now. The inconsistency explained.
To be clear, I'm still at the stage of gathering data in my research. My hypothesis states that kinesis cannot transport metal, though. Hence, the metal weapon would have stayed put. In other words, the point just raised by Mr. Hodo isn't an inconsistency at all. Mr. Aspen was the patron of my research. Without him, my work wouldn't have been possible. Now I have a duty to protect the incredible machine that we built together.
Isn't he wearing metal?
So the thrust of your testimony, Professor, is...
That based upon my hypothesis, metal objects cannot be moved by this method of instantaneous kinesis.
In other words...
In other words, since the screwdriver is made of metal and was remain lodged in the victim's chest, its subsequent discovery on the stage despite the victim being found elsewhere is not an inconsistency.
And therefore...
And therefore, Professor Albert Harebrain could still have been the killer.
My great hypothesis holds, you see. We had to make the cage used to contain the subject from wood for that very reason.
Was not addressing you, witness.
Professor Harebrain?
Yes?
Whose side are you on here?
I don't take sides, Mr. Naruhodo. No. My only interest lies in upholding my hypothesis. I'm a scientist, after all.
Is he working for us or against us? Very hard to tell. Let's see how you cross-examine this testimony, my Nippity's friend.
Yes, fire away, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh my goodness. Science, yes, the science is bullshit. We have to remember that is what we know. The science isn't true. So to be clear, I'm still at the stage of gathering data in my research.
Hold it!
And yet your retort to my argument wasn't lacking in confidence in any way.
No scientist can find the truth without first finding self-belief. Those were the words of a certain scientist I hold in the very highest esteem.
But you realize that disproving my argument puts you in a very precarious position, don't you?
No scientist should strive to protect himself more than he strives to protect the truth. More words the same great scientist, you know.
Words that are causing me a lot of trouble. Who is this scientist?
I'm afraid I couldn't tell you, Mr. Naruhodo. But as soon as I remember the magnificent genius name, you'll be the first to know.
It might be worth keeping the names of your idols to mind. You're wasting your breath, my learned friend. This scatterbrain even forgets my name at times. So Lord Von Zieks really did have a friend once. But I didn't know his hell freezing over. Oh, good one. It's a kinesis cannot transport metal, though. I'm gonna do a present right now. Like... Oh, that's wood, not metal. I was kind of hoping something on his bot... Like, is this metal? Is this metal on the glasses? Like this? Like, these are the only two things I could think of. Like, if it's a metal button, the button will come off. I'm gonna risk it.
Objection!
Hey, I got it. Professor Harebrain, you say that according to your hypothesis, nothing made of metal can be beamed by instantaneous kinesis using the machine you made. Is that right?
Yes, that's right. Spawn, exactly correct.
In that case, I'd ask you to have a look at this photograph that was taken at the scene. In particular, I'd like you to pay attention to the victim's face. Oh, it's the glasses. You can clearly see Mr. Aspen is wearing a pair of spectacles with a metal rim.
What? Metal? No! Metal can't... That's not... metal? No!
You've already established the proposed murder weapon, the screwdrivers found on the stage. However, if your hypothesis correctly predicted the outcome, it should have also predicted that the metal-rimmed spectacles would be found in the same place.
Ah! My hypothesis! My hypothesis!
Professor Harebrained, this isn't easy for me to say. But your hypothesis is clearly flawed.
Wah!
Order! Counsel, what is the implication of this?
If on the day in question the alleged instantaneous kinesis never actually took place, then it's entirely possible that the victim was killed somewhere other than on the stage. And in that case, someone other than the defendant could have been the culprit.
But my hypothesis is sound! I proved it that day. The experiment was success. Apparently, was proof of all my work.
If I could say something here in my capacity as a fellow of the Royal Society. Yes, drawer number 4. Go ahead. As a man of science, there's one thing I simply cannot abide. And that's a fraud who pretends to be a fellow man of science.
What? Wait! Great Scott! Are you suggesting my science is suspect?
It's just been disproved, hasn't it? In front of all of us. In other words, the whole demonstration was a complete nonsense from start to finish. Believe me, my fellow jurors, when I tell you that this man is a heel, a bounder, and a fraud. I say the wreckage of that machine should be stripped down and thoroughly examined.
No! Never! That machine is the essence of my entire hypothesis! It's protected by special... What the devil is this blasted act all about, eh? Who made up such a daft rule?
I don't like the way this seems to be going. What's the best way for me to help the professor? Oh. Usually you would do... What objection would I even raise? Let me read the history again. I mean, when given this choice, 9 times out of 10, you want to raise an objection. But the thing is, if we say the machine's protected, that means the experiment was a success. I'll save right here. What's the best way? I can't say the machine is protected. Yeah, if it's successful, it'll be protected. Because it's credible science. Because that's the whole thing the prosecution's trying to say. The prosecution's trying to say that it's a success. So we don't want it to be a success. Let's wait and see. Maybe I should watch and wait for the time being. My feeling is that the machine requires a thorough examination.
Oh, what about this special dispensation that's been mentioned? Oh gosh, this is all too much.
If it's determined that the machine itself was the murder weapon, I think you'll find that act won't apply.
Of course it was the murder weapon! Anyone can see that as plain as day!
We're all in agreement, are we, that the machine should be stripped? Oh, wait, so we're all in agreement then, are we, that the machine should be stripped?
If I don't do something, they'll...
Objection!
Oh, okay. So it's an automatic objection. So you're allowed... So it's probably like a non-choice. You could see like them discuss things. Maybe. Professor Harebrine has yet to perfect his invention. That would seem to be the case, yes. But even so what? Going to such trouble and expense to create a fake machine to display in public. He would have absolutely no reason to do such a thing.
Objection!
Objection! He had an obvious reason to do exactly that. For the research grant money. Ah!
If the government was foolish enough to have deemed the man's ridiculous notion plausible, he and his conspirators would have received a handsome sum indeed.
Conspirators? What would be the value of such a grant? 10 pounds?
You're an order of magnitude out, madam. 500 pounds a year.
Ooh, you could live handsome on that much for years.
The society does increase in bogus public demonstrations in the field of science recently.
Alright, get your drink.
Plenty of scientists arguing with each other to get the largest slice of the funding cake. People's greed is plenty more than enough for murder, I assure you.
No, I haven't deceived anyone. At least of the government. My hypothesis is sound, the science is sound. Please, you must believe me.
Objection!
No matter how unbelievable this hypothesis may seem to you, ladies and gentlemen, the fact remains that the victim was transported instantly to the Crystal Tower. Which means that the experiment was a success.
Barak!
And therefore, the only person who could possibly have committed this murder is the accused.
Oh, Barak.
Where is this heading? I have no idea. My lord, if I may.
Yes, Lord Von Zieks.
The prosecution would like to summon new witnesses to the stand. Oh?
New witnesses? What would be the nature of their involvement?
They were spectators of the demonstration at the exhibition, who were occupying special seats. Eyewitnesses?
Very well, the court grants the prosecution's request. I should very much like to hear from eyewitnesses to the incident.
The prosecution's stance is clear. This experiment was no postage. The accused killed the financial victim there on the public stage before the very eyes of the spectators. Now, my learned friend... Oh, yes? It's time for you to make your own stance clear. There's clearly a flaw in the professor's hypothesis. I can definitely see that. Where does that leave me?
She'll take a short recess now, during which time the prosecution will prepare its new witnesses to take the stand.
As you wish, my lord.
Good. In that case, court is adjourned for 20 minutes.
Oh. That? To be continued. We only played for an hour. Okay, then. That didn't take nearly as long as I thought. I'll just overwrite that one. October. Oh, that court trial lasted an hour and a half so far. Mr. Naruhodo? What on earth were you playing at just now? Or rather... What on earth were you playing at all along? My hypothesis! My basic hypothesis! You've been picking holes in it from the start! Sorry about that.
But you promised me! You said you'd prove that granite explosion was an accident, not murder! You said you'd keep my precious invention from falling into anyone else's hands! But all you've done so far is try to undermine me!
Yes, I did make you a promise, you're right. I said that I'd believe in you and fight for your freedom to the very end. I also told you I was no scientist. I don't understand your hypothesis. The fact is, there's an undeniable flaw in your logic, isn't there?
But if I just run through some equations... Yes, you see? It's because my work is incomplete!
Perhaps it is. Nevertheless, a man died as a consequence, didn't he?
Oh! Oh, no! Oh, no!
Love it.
You're right. You're so right. It's all my fault. And I have no right to blame you for my failures. I'm a disaster. Not just as a scientist, but as a human being.
Well, that might be a little over the top.
And while we're on the subject, what about Barrack? He's being awful.
Calling his old university friend to be a murderer, you mean?
He's a disaster. Not just as a prosecutor, but as a human being. Oh, but no, wait. He's the Reaper, isn't he? Because he's not classified as Homo sapiens anymore.
Glad that's cleared up.
Can I double check something with you?
Yes?
What?
Machine and demonstration you prepared. They were based entirely on your hypothesis, I presume? There was no trickery involved?
I drew the plans for the machine with my very own hands. Every line was painstakingly drawn with the firm belief that science is the only future. So yes, it's true that my hypothesis hasn't reached maturity yet. Oh, please, Mr. Naruhodo, you must believe in it.
Alright, Professor. I understand. Counsel, defendant. The prosecution's witnesses are ready to take the stand. Court is about to be in session again. Make your way into the courtroom, please. It all hinges on that demonstration. If the professor's hypothesis is sound as he claims, it leaves him as the only person who could possibly have killed the victim. On the other hand, Mr. Sholmes was adamant. A practical implementation, such as was attempted by the professor at the Great Expedition, is quite impossible. I need water. So really, what should I be trying to prove here? It's kind of a lose-lose situation, if you think about it. Alright, 11 a.m. In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby reconvene the proceedings of this court. Counsel to the defense and prosecution, are you ready for the new witnesses to testify? The prosecution is ready, my lord. As is the defense, my lord. So, Lord Von Zeeks, I believe these ex-witnesses saw the demonstration on the day in question with their own eyes? Indeed, they did. And as luck would have it, one of them is a police detective. So the testimony we are about to hear can be considered highly reliable. Oh boy. Is it Gina? If I remember the name right. The prosecution's stance remains unchanged. Though it ended in tragedy, the demonstration on the day in question was scientifically sound. And consequently, the sole person with the opportunity to commit his act of murder is the only other individual to have been present on the stage at the time, the accused. Thank you, counsel. The prosecution's position is clear. So, bring forth your witnesses now. Bailiff, show the witnesses in. Gestrade's last name. The witnesses whose proximity to the incident on the day in question will clarify the truth unequivocally. Oh, no, it's not. Nope, yep, there she is. I knew it. But what's with the other two? Okay, I wasn't expecting 3 people. Witnesses, state your names and occupations for the court to hear.
My name is Balthazar Loon. I am the impresario of all the hot air balloons in vicinity at the experimental stage.
Oh god. It's like trying to speak French, I think. Or Spanish. The impresario of all the hot air balloons in vicinity of the experimento stage. Oh! It's German.
My name is Wilhelm Gotthard Sigmund Ornstein. I have come to see the great expedition for all the way from my home in Bohemia. Aww, he wants a balloon. I'm very rich.
Yeah, Gina.
Inspector Gina Lestrade, Scotland Yard. I'm a great detective. Even Alex Holmes agrees. I was on security duty at the expedition, and I got to go up in one of them balloons, which is amazing.
Gina, again. But she did mention that she'd seen the disaster from up in a balloon, actually, didn't she? And she clearly loved every minute of it. There were 3 balloons flying near the public experimentation stage where the incident occurred. 2 of the witnesses were in one such balloon at the time and saw events unfold from the skies above.
Make a snack? Oh yeah, get your foods.
So many mustaches.
You make it sound like they were in the clouds. It was only altitude of circa 60 feet, very low. Well, you can't see nothing if you fly too high, can ya?
60 feet, about 18 meters then.
Thank you for your introductions. Now you will give your formal testimony for the court. Kindly describe exactly what you witnessed, especially those of you who had the vantage point above the stage.
Alright, let's see. The view from 60 feet up.
It was an incidente terrible. Terribile? I'm only grateful that my balloons were not damaged. There's this huge bang from the stage, and then the next second another bang in the sky beside us. And from amid the smoke, a cage appeared out of nowhere.
The cage had fallen from the sky like a stone and crashed into the crystal tower.
I didn't get a good look inside the cage, but no one went near it after it crashed into the tower. No one near it after it crashed into the tower.
Looks extraordinary collective amount, I must say.
Can I just clarify something? Detail in witness testimony that I've not heard any mention of until now. Specifically that there were 2 explosions? More precisely, 2 explosions in 2 separate places, yes. When the demonstration began, the balloon carrying the 2 witnesses was around here. There were other balloons in the air nearby at the time carrying other passengers as well, to be clear. Then, as power supplied to the machine for the demonstration, the first explosion occurred. The so-called birdcage that contained the victim disappeared from the stage, and a moment later, the second explosion occurred directly adjacent to the balloon carrying the witnesses. The birdcage appeared at the site of the explosion, subsequently to plummet down into the crystal tower.
I was very surprised. Suddenly a cage appeared before my eyes with a person inside. The blast was so hot, but I didn't want to miss a thing, so I kept my eyes wide. I need another balloon, sir. Thank you. I still have lots of money.
All right.
Precisely who is this curious infant?
I'm told he is a young noble of Bohemian royalty. Apparently, he disguised himself in order to steal unnoticed into the Great Expedition.
Yeah, I am here in London on a sightseeing trip to visit my elementary school.
What? We will have the benefit of a child's point of view in the testimony. Do we really need that? Oh, the mask is gone. Well, thank you for taking off the mask.
When I remove my mask, this is what I will look like.
Ah, yes, I see. A delightful face, I'm sure.
Let's press button.
Yeah, everybody says so.
Great disguise, then. The point is, the testimony of these witnesses further substantiates the facts for the court. Namely, that despite ending in an explosion, instantaneous kinesis was successfully demonstrated. And furthermore, that until the arrival of the police, no one approached the Crystal Tower where the victim fell. Therefore, only the accused who was with Asmund on the stage could possibly have committed the murder.
Yes, thank you, counsel. Prosecution's views on the matter are quite clear. So the defense's cross-examination now, please.
Yes, my lord. You're fuming from 60 feet up. It's an incredible incidente terrible. I'm grateful that my balloons were not damaged. Welcome back! The kid took off his mask. He's with his elementary school. On a trip here. And he kind of snuck in. Let's start pressing. Actually, can I look to see... Oh no. I'll just start pressing. There were 3 balloons flying above the experimentation stage at the time, I understand.
See. All 3 of them, but my bellissime bambini. They are very popular, signor. Some people will pay £10 for one ride. £10? That's more than my annual stipend. £20 a month. That is my pocket money.
Royals have all the luck.
I got up there for free, I did. Play the old I work for Her Majesty's police card, you know.
Detectives have all the luck. If they're so popular, why would you only be operating such a small number of balloons, though?
Because if I had too many in the skies, they could crash into each other.
The operators for the balloons were decided by lots, which each operator managed a particular area.
See? And the zone above public experimentation stage is the most profitable. The other impresarios, they hate me.
Thank you, witness. I think the court has a clear picture of the arrangements for balloon rides at the expedition. As you could hear more about what you actually witnessed of the incident.
Right. I can fill you in there, my lord.
There's this huge bang from the stage, and the next second another bang in the sky beside us.
Hold it!
So you actually saw the accident happen from up in the air?
Yup. Ain't it amazing what the detective gets to do, eh? I'm telling you, Odo, being a lawyer's a mug's game. You should join the force and we can go flying together.
You know me so well. Yes, well, anyway, could you tell us exactly what you saw, do you think?
Everything! We saw everything because we were up above it all. That dodgy coat climbing into that cage, and the dodgy professor pulling all the levers. And that's when it happened! That's when there was that massive bang and the cage disappeared, just like that!
You were describing the moment the subject's body was decomposed by the electricity, I believe.
I didn't know what to make of it. But then there was another bang right in me ear. Looked around and there was this huge green fireball right next to us in the sky. And there was nothing there before.
Oh?
Excuse me.
Excuse me. Master Gotts, does your memory of the day differ? Stop sucking your thumb.
My teacher at elementary school said that when you meet someone for the first time, you should always use their full name.
Yes, what was it again?
Wilhelm Gottfried Sigismund Ornstein.
Just the 4 names then? The point is, do you have something to say? Something to add in response to Detective Gina Lestrade's last remark, perhaps?
Oi, get it right, Odo. It's Inspector Lestrade.
Why does everyone have a problem with how I dress them at the moment?
That is not what I say. So,
Oh?
yeah, there was a second explosion. It was right beside a balloon. That is true. But I'm sure, which is what I said in it. One minute there was nothing there, the next massive explosion. My teacher at military school said that when someone else is speaking, if you are rude enough to interrupt, you will have the most awful life imaginable.
Are all Bohemians brought up to be so full of joy?
Give me another balloon, sir. Just before the second explosion happened next to our balloon, I clearly witnessed a green balloon flying in the sky. In the sky.
A green balloon?
Eh? What? I never saw nothing like that. Well, I did. I saw it. And you can't say I didn't. I will complain to the consult. I will cry and scream. My testimony is the truth. I am Bohemian Prince. You cannot say it's a lie. That is not allowed.
Oh my god, I am
Yelling so much. Playing the bleeding royalty card, are ya? Typical.
Says the orphan who likes to remind people she works for Her Majesty's police. Green balloon. Would it come from this? Let me see if there's something new. No, nothing. It might be this. I guess that would be the... Yeah. We have evidence to support that.
In that case, young man, I must ask you to amend your formal testimony. In the interest of cordial national relations between Great Britain and Bohemia.
It was not the sky that exploded. It was a green balloon that was next to us at the time.
I can't object. So we're gonna need more information first.
Hold it!
A green balloon, you say? Are you sure about that?
Of course I am sure. I'm a proud Bohemian Prince. All these questions are making me boring.
I think you mean bored.
Ach, English is very annoying. The language of my countrymen is far superior.
Lagazzo, it is very wrong to lie.
Lie? Flying balloons never explode. For the same reason the planets never explode. It is logical.
Please tell me that doesn't mean logical.
If you insult me, you insult all of Bohemia. Madai! I will have the army come and shoot all the balloons out of the sky! All of them! Oh, I will purchase another balloon. Here you are, your highness.
If only all international incidents were so easily resolved. Oh man, so much high energy and screaming. Now that peaceful relations have been restored here in the courtroom, perhaps we could return to the testimony? Did you also see the moment that the cage materialized, Mr. Loon?
No, I did not see the explosion myself.
However, cage fell from the sky like a stone and crashed in the crystal tower. Hold on, I got an idea. I don't know. I'm not sure when to present it.
Hold it!
Did you see that actually happen?
No, in reality I did not. I saw after it hit the tower. There was a grand confusion around the stage. I ran to see what had happened. I was terrorized by the idea one of my balloons had crashed.
I suppose they are his livelihood.
But when I looked up to the sky, all my precious balloons were still there. I saw it though. I saw it slam into the tower. After all, I am a detective now.
Then tell us what you saw, Inspector Lestrade.
That's what I'd like to hear.
I didn't get a good look inside the cave when no one went near it after it crashed into the tower.
Hold it!
Was it you who gave the order to keep people away?
Use your head, Odo. How could it have been me? I was up in the balloon, weren't I?
Right.
So, because I wasn't available, it was the boss who had to get over there. He was getting shoved and kicked all over by the panic inspectors as they tried to seal off the scene. It was a real sight to behold, I could tell ya. Amazing.
Poor Inspector Gregson.
So anyway, I couldn't see the cage that well because of all the smoke. And I didn't really want to see it, to be honest. I was scared out of my wits.
Keep it together, Inspector. The prosecution really is asserting that the demonstration was genuine. What if it was actually some kind of switch-around trick instead? That would mean that the victim was never actually on the stage in the first place. Two explosions would have thrown everyone watching into a panic for sure. I can you find out more about what exactly people saw at the time. Oh! Maybe we present the green cloth now?
Objection!
Ah, okay. We had to prove that. So I had the right idea with the supporting testimony. It was just I wasn't sure what statement to do it on. Mr. Loon, in your testimony, you said that all three of the balloons you had operating at the time were undamaged.
See, that is correct. If they had been caught in the explosions, it would have been terrible.
I wonder if you might know what this is.
Ah, I think it may be. See, part of a balloon. A burnt piece of the fabric of the envelope.
Sorry, the envelope?
Pardon, this is the large round part of the balloon which becomes filled with hot air. It's made from very thick fabric lined with rubber. You do not want it to rip when you are in the sky.
Just as I thought. This piece of cloth was found near the experimentation stage. In other words, as Master Gotts testified, a green balloon did indeed explode that day. If all the balloons in the sky above the experimentation stage belong to you, Mr. Loon, then your statement that they were all damaged clearly contradicts the evidence. No! All his balloons popped. Rip. Balloon exploded that day. Why didn't the man say so?
Why is he dropping his cards?
Oh no, haven't just spent 10 old pounds for the experience?
How awful. Seems like those things crash 50% of the time anyway.
Objection!
Oh? The instantaneous kinesis did occur, but after the explosion on the stage, the point of materialization shifted to a location occupied by a balloon. Causing the balloon to explode? Yes, eminently plausible. An unfortunate traffic accident, as it were, but changes nothing about the pertinent facts.
This I cannot accept.
Why not, Mr. Loon?
You are suggesting that I am a liar. That person's died in a balloon incident.
There's no need to get fired up, Mr. Loon. The victim was the sole fatality that day.
That's right, and I prove it. Balthazar Loon is not a liar. There was no such balloon in the sky. It is non-possible.
You're saying it's impossible? Why? This court has more important matters to discuss than the number of balloons that were operating that day.
Aye!
Objection!
You can't ignore the fact that nobody appears to have known anything about this other balloon until now. My lord. The defense calls for further testimony from Mr. Loon. Or Lune.
I concur. There's clearly more to the truth here than meets the eye. It's imperative that we clear up the issue of this phantom balloon, I feel. Witness, you will give supplementary testimony about the balloons you were operating at the exhibition.
Ah, grazie, my lord.
Mr. Looney's balloons. I'm gonna say Lune.
As I said, Balthazar Lune is no liar. Every balloon I had in sky landed safely. All 3 of my balloons were carrying passengers. They fell to the ground in an explosion. What a catastrophe. But you can't get away from the fact that the burnt up bit of cloth found at the scene, can you? The copper said to you, reckon there was probably some debris thrown from the explosion on the stage. This stupido Lucaso is mistaken. My balloons have the red and blue zigzag stripes so anyway.
Stupido ragazzo? What does that mean? I feel like that's a really bad insult.
So your assertion is that the balloon this child saw was not the one belonging to you?
Si, exactamente. If he even saw a balloon in the first place. I do not like the sound of it. It is very bad for business. I have a good mind to soothe the land of Bohemia. If you attack us, we will fight back. It will be war, all out war. Balloon, please.
What happened to all-out war? Mr. Lune certainly doesn't appear to be lying, but that doesn't change the fact that testimony and evidence are contradictory here.
If the defense is unable to find fault with the witness's statements, the court must consider them the truth.
Think long and hard on that, my learned friend. History just clearly changed now. I have to get to the bottom of what happened here, no matter what it takes.
Counsel, you may now cross-examine the witnesses.
This is probably the longest we've gone without talking to the jury. Like, they haven't made up their minds at all so far. Mr. Looney's balloons. Oh, the music sped up a little bit. Every balloon I had in the sky landed safe.
Hold it!
Okay. You couldn't just have forgotten one, maybe?
Senor, I might not notice if I was given out 100, if I was given 100 lentils and one was missing. But we are talking about 3 enormous balloons. Do you believe I can make a mistake about something so grand and expensive?
I took the liberty of having Inspector Gregson check this gentleman's warehouse. I have the report here. It clearly says a total of 3 balloons.
It would appear no mistake has been made, then.
Surely Mr. Stray could have been sent for such a menial task.
What, me? I'll tell you what I told the boss. These 10 kids like me can only count up to 2. Obviously that ain't true, but the boss brought in and said he'd have to go himself in that case.
Green balloons are carrying passengers, right?
Hold it!
It would be quite a catastrophe if they fell to the ground for any reason, I think. On that note, Mr. Lune, tell me, what is it that keeps these balloons in the sky?
Are you an idiota?
Sorry?
That is like asking, why does a candle burn bright? It burns bright because it burns bright, and the balloon flies because it flies. What else?
That must be Italian for I don't know. Oh, he's Italian. Okay. Making more Spanish than Italian. I gotta give him an Italian accent. A more Italian accent. There are two types of flying balloons, hot air balloons and gas balloons. Hot air balloons work on the principle of hot air being less dense than cold air, whereas gas balloons derive their lift by using a gas that is lighter than air. See, and my balloons are filled with a magic gas, I believe? Hydrogen, lighter than air but highly explosive.
Good lord!
I do not permit smoking of the cigarettes in any of my balloons. The magic gas does not like fire.
Even a small spark of static electricity could cause the entire balloon to explode.
Oh? What is the matter with you, senor? All that comes out of your mouth is esplosione, esplosione. I tell you, my balloons are perfectly safe. They have to be or I cannot eat. None of my balloons exploded that day, I am completely sure. But if you still say that is what happened, you must show me the proof.
Alright, so Mr. Looney had 3 balloons in the air that day. If none of them were damaged, then what was the one that exploded? Yeah.
Hold it!
I was surprised to find a piece of fabric still at the scene, actually. Didn't you search the area surrounding the stage for clues?
Nah. I'm not into picking stuff up off the ground, me. It always works out way better. Diving into people's pockets instead.
So much for the new career path.
Mind you, the son is on his knees picking up all kinds of rubbish from the floor. Thing is though, the cage would crash into the crystal tower, didn't it? So that's where most of the investigation was going on.
Even so, I would have thought someone from Scotland Yard would have gathered it up as evidence.
Come on, listen to you. You stumble across a bit of balloon and suddenly you're the best investigator in the world.
Pardon?
Well, you ain't got the badge, have ya? Like this one. Could have bested you with this if I wanted to. I wouldn't put it past her. Come to think of it, there was talk of some scorching on the ground at the meeting we had about the investigation.
Oh? I reckon there was probably some debris thrown from the explosion on the stage.
Why, Naomi, it's okay.
Hold it!
There was considerable damage to the stage and surrounding area, wasn't there?
Yeah, some of the clubs with what were watching the experiment were caught in the blast and injured. But the old contraption didn't keel over, eh?
I hadn't even considered that. Seems there was great panic after the incident occurred. Nevertheless, the police shouldn't have missed a torn piece of the other envelope from the balloon. Inspector Gregson can expect repercussions.
Like me swiping on his fish and chips, eh?
Man's sole pleasure. No! She's stealing from the black hole of fish and chips.
Oh, no.
A man's soul.
None of this matters. That clump of balloon envelope means nothing. Niente. This stupido ragazzo is mistaken.
My balloons have the red and blue zigzag stripes anyway.
Hold it!
You mean the color is wrong?
Si, senor. I do not have any green balloons in my warehouse.
And yet, a piece of green cloth was found at the scene. And it's unmistakably from a balloon.
Well, I do not know how that could be.
For the sake of argument, let's say that a green balloon did explode above the stage. You couldn't therefore conclude that it happened on the day in question. Why not? There have been recreational balloon fights over Hyde Park operating from before the Great Expedition. One could have exploded on some earlier date. Unfortunate, as I'm sure you would agree.
You believe it may have been from some earlier balloon accident that predates the expedition?
Si, exactamente. As the senior says, it is not from one of my balloons. Clearly, this little Lucaso from Bohemia is mistaken about what he saw.
Oh, he's pissed.
Excuse me.
Is something wrong, Master Guts?
It's Master Wilhelm Gottfried Sigurdsson Ornstein.
It was on the tip of my tongue.
Yeah, something is very wrong. I know what I saw. There was a green balloon there. I swear all over Bohemia.
You can speak as much bad language as you like, but it changes nothing.
Oh, sure, you can have this balloon. If you do not have evidence, Legazo, I must tell your parents to punish you, eh?
Perhaps we'll let the judge decide when it comes to punishments.
Evidence? What is this evidence?
To give a simple example, young man. A photograph, for instance. Some tangible proof of what you claim.
Oh, why didn't you say so sooner? I shall have the photograph here.
What?
Good gracious!
What?
Everyone,
look at these two! Look at them! Both of them just staring at the kid. And I've been up in a balloon for a little while, so I was very excited. I took lots and lots of photographs of the Crystal Tower, of the Bohemian exhibit, of the streets in London, of the Art Il Cellar, the balloon.
and the instantaneous police experiment. Did you take a picture of that?
Yeah, one picture.
Really? You did take one?
But all I wanted was to ride in the balloon. I was not interested in balloon experiments.
Never mind that. Can you show us that photograph?
Of course. And then you will see. You will see that I am not lying. That I really did see a green balloon.
I need to look at that again. Honestly, you barely see it now at the bottom. It was probably just something I never paid attention to.
Well, I see you all too shocked to speak.
Yes, I think shocked is indeed the word, young man.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, now he definitely hit it good.
Yeah, perhaps you cannot see that it was a green balloon from the photograph, but that is not my fault! That is the fault of the stupid person who made me see camera!
Why a special spelling for the wah? That is one very bohemian sounding cry.
Very well. The court will accept this photograph as evidence.
The the balloon has been entered in the court record. In God's wealth, he was riding a balloon. It shows another balloon that he claims is green and exploded moments after he took this shot. Hold on. I want to take a good look at that. So this, he claims, is a green balloon that was empty. Oh, look. Naomi, I think we know what the arrow was for. Someone used the crossbow to shoot the balloon down. In the smoke. So the guy was completely hidden when he took the shot. And you can see he's here. Yeah, a flaming bolt would explode it. So the guy's there. He's currently in the seat. And it's still pointing straight. I don't know. But yeah, it's still pointing straight instead of pointing up like the diagram shows. Interesting.
It's not my fault. It's the fault of the person who made the camera.
Well, never mind. I'm sure you have plenty of wonderful sepia memories to take home with you. In any case, when exactly did you take that photograph?
Well, it was on the day of the big explosion.
You don't say.
When I pressed the shutter release, there was this very loud bang, and a hot wind rushed over my face.
That means this photograph was taken a split second before the explosion occurred.
Well, if you ask me, this black and white photograph changes nothing. I cannot give the flying fig.
Oh, the language you picked up. As I thought, Mr. Lune's testimony just doesn't quite add up. The young bohemian boy claims to have seen another, fourth balloon. Mr. Lune vehemently denies the possibility, and it's hard to imagine the man in charge could be mistaken about the number that were in the air. Still, this inconsistency must tell us something, I'm sure. Oh, Yeah. There were no passengers in this one.
Objection!
Unfortunately, the photograph Master Gotts took can't tell us the color of the balloon. It can tell us something else. Something crucially important. What? It shows that the pictured balloon wasn't carrying any passengers.
Oh, my goodness, you're right. But surely all the balloons would have been carrying passengers? There would be no sense in it otherwise.
See, they are for pleasure. For seeing the view, my balloons will only fly with passengers. Which tells us that the pictured balloon isn't one of them. So when the incident occurred that day, there was a fourth balloon in the skies above the experimentation stage. The mysterious green balloon.
I know nothing. Niente. I can only tell you one thing.
If this balloon was not carrying passengers, then it was not one of mine.
Objection!
There are illegal tradesmen everywhere you care to look. Barely one such entrepreneur decided to capitalize on the opportunity presented by the Great Expedition. He managed to operate balloon flights on Mr. Lune's pet without him realizing.
See, the computación, trying to smell profits. I did not notice because of the experimento that went wrong on the stage.
His fourth balloon exploded the very same moment Mr. Aspen was beamed from the stage below.
Right.
Yeah, his balloon's pulsating. That's because he's creating hot air when he's angry.
Right, so them scraps that fell to the ground after and left them scorch marks. They didn't come from the stage at all. There was bits of the balloon written down. But because no one was in it, it didn't get no attention.
Mysterious fourth balloon carrying no passengers silently floating over the experimentation stage.
Objection!
This photograph shows us nothing more. A stray balloon carrying no one and operated by some rogue trader clearly has nothing to do with the case.
Its relevance does elude me, I must say.
The court has seen sufficient evidence and heard ample testimony already. The prosecution calls for this trial to be concluded.
They're not even paying attention.
Really? Have we really got to the truth yet? No, I can't let this opportunity slip away. The jurors' minds are made up, and not in our favor. What else can this photograph tell us? Is there nothing more we can learn from it? There is plenty more.
Objection!
There's something shooting up. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, wait. Please don't give your decisions yet. Holograph of Master Gots. Meanwhile, behind one more vital clue. What's that? A vital clue.
Objection!
We're well past the point of mere possibilities. It's time for definitives now, so tell the court. What exactly does this alleged clue in the photograph prove? The cause of the explosion. We can reasonably assume that the picture balloon was destroyed in the searing key to the explosion. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was not my fault. Evidently, because the birdcage from the kinesis machine materialized in the sky where it had been flying. And the balloon, being filled with flammable hydrogen, instantly and explosively ignited.
Objection!
No, that's not what happened. What?
It would appear that this photograph requires closer examination. Counsel for the defense, you will highlight the location of this alleged clue in the photograph for the court.
Of course, my lord. If you look closely, it's plain enough to see. What's shown is linked to another piece of evidence we have. In a way, that leads to an unbelievable conclusion. Suggest the real reason the balloon exploded is... this right here.
Take that!
The timing of this photograph can only be described as miraculous. If you look, you'll notice there's a bright white line that appears to point directly at the balloon. Most likely a ray of light caught on incidentally on the film.
I'm afraid I can see nothing of the sort.
If you look with the magnifying glass, my lord, it becomes clear what the nature of this bright light really is.
Goodness, what is that?
Undeniably some flash of light, yes. Oh golly, do you think it might be lightning? But it could have been a finer day. I believe we may be looking at fire. A bolt of fire headed straight for the balloon, like an arrow.
Indeed, even to my aging eyes, it would appear to be a flame of some sort. My word! Are you suggesting this flame struck the hydrogen gas that filled the balloon?
Objection!
That's absurd. The balloon would have been 60 feet above the ground at the time. No flame could possibly have reached such a height.
Objection!
Not without an arrow. Actually, it's my opinion that a particular piece of evidence found at the scene reveals how that is exactly what it did happen. What evidence?
If such evidence exists, counsel, then for goodness sake present it, man. What evidence explains this mysterious streak of flame that appears to be headed directly for the balloon?
Time to show the crossbow. Secret weapon time.
Take that!
This was found hidden at the foot of a small ornamental tree near the scene.
Good lord, is that a crossbow?
An arrow dipped in oil instead of light could have been shot from this weapon, sending a flaming arrow straight into the hydrogen-filled balloon. Are you suggesting that crossbow was used to deliberately?
Limey, you're right. The streak of light in the photo looks just like an arrow, don't it? Then, the explosion of the balloon, it was
very likely the result of a flaming arrow from this crossbow igniting the hydrogen gas inside it. No! My heart! I can take the pain.
Order, order! Counsel, this is an extraordinary opposition.
If the aim was to cause the balloon to explode, the shooter could have used a gun, of course. However, there's an obvious reason why that would have been out of the question. The noise of the discharge, of course. That's right. By using a crossbow, the projectile could be fired at the balloon silently.
well, now if someone had shot the gun off in the expedition grounds, it would cause a real panic. But with the big explosion, there was a very big panic anyway, no?
I don't like this. I should be pleased to have found a plausible new explanation for all this, but something feels wrong.
Objection!
Do you understand the implications of what you're saying, my Nipponese friend? If a flaming arrow did indeed hit the balloon, then obviously it would have exploded. If the birdcage appeared from the cloud of smoke that ensued... What? Wait a minute. What are you really saying there? I don't get it. Was the birdcage beamed up into the sky after all? Or... what?
My goodness me.
Ah, now I understand. That's what that sinking feeling is about. I think there's a good chance that the birdcage was actually concealed inside the balloon all along. Oh. That is not a possibility I thought of. What? Did I just hear that correctly, Council? There's no going back now. The horse is bolted. Let's assume, as I said, that the birdcage was hidden inside the green balloon from the start. That's the real question, Naomi. But this is the best way to prove that the hypothesis that the experiment actually failed. Which would mean he was dead for a while. On stage, when the experiment was started, the birdcage and the institution in its consistency disappeared in a cloud of smoke. At that moment, the flaming arrow was fired from the ground, causing the green balloon to well, no. Was the arrow the... Wait, that makes no sense then. It could have, but we already know it's the screwdriver. So did he use the screwdriver as the arrow? That also... Maybe... I'm not sure what to think. This definitely throws everything off, causing the green balloon to explode and drawing the attention of the spectators to the sky above their heads. From amid the smoke, the hidden birdcage then appeared, to fall down and crash into the crystal tower. I think you'll all agree it's entirely plausible that what I've just described is the real truth behind the miraculous experiment carried out that day.
Good grief!
Objection!
This is ludicrous. What you described is no science experiment. It's child play, a contemptible display of stage magic. Both Mr. Sholmes and Iris said that the experiment was a scientific impossibility. In which case, this is the only way to explain what happened that day. And in any case, the victim's body was found inside the birdcage in the crystal tower. And the instantaneous kinesis didn't take place. How do you explain that? If I may put in a word, as a man of magic myself, such apparent discrepancies can easily be explained by some simple deception. Juror number 3? All that would be needed is a doppelganger, someone who looked very similar to the victim, Mr. Asman, and having this other man appear on stage to front of the show as a body double. Ah, yes, of course, so in fact... Mr. Asman must have been inside the birdcage that was concealed inside the balloon right from the start.
Objection!
That balloon would have been filled with hydrogen. Anything hidden inside it would have been scattered to the four winds when it exploded. No one would ever have embarked on such a risky venture.
Not necessarily. The explosive force of the balloon gas would very much depend upon the mixture ratio.
Juror number 4.
Iron balloons are rarely filled with pure hydrogen, but a mixture of other gases such as helium as well. Helium on its own doesn't explode, but by controlling the gas mixture ratio, the explosive force can be altered. The mixture ratio?
See, I like this guy. He's doing proper science here.
Obviously, the victim's body would have suffered some burns. That would be unavoidable. But not to such an extent as to render this whole obscene charade impossible.
Nice. So everything that happened can be explained, logically and scientifically. The explosion that engulfed the stage at the start of the experiment was no accident. It was all part of an elaborate deception to make it appear that instantaneous kinesis had occurred.
Well, goodness me.
And if we accept that this is what happened, it means that the victim, Mr. Asman, was never present on the public experimentation stage to begin with. In short, he couldn't have been killed by the defendant, who was on stage in full view the entire time.
Arr, my heart.
This will be very hard for the prosecution to counter. Lord Von Ziegler can't credibly maintain that Professor Harebrained is a suspect now. Oh no. It's gonna be Harebrained. Mr. Naruhodo, I appreciate your efforts. Thank you. Professor? You can stop now. Just keep your mouth shut, please. Sorry? What's all this about, Mr. Harebrained? I, Albert Harebrained, hereby confess that it was me who stabbed Mr. Oli Asman. Oh my god. You are going to go so far. You're going to sacrifice everything just to make this hypothesis a success for your science. Come on, man. Yes, it was me with my faithful friend and partner, Andrew the Screwdriver. What? What are you doing? Order! Defendant, explain this subject confession.
Objection!
Professor Harebrained, what are you talking about? It's what I've said all along. I must protect my hypothesis and my precious machine. You stand there and claim it was all a trick, an elaborate prank. But where's your proof? No, you'd have to examine the machine if you wanted to prove it, but then it would all be over. My beautiful hypothesis would be laid bare. I mean, the indignity of it. It's clear that you drew the plans for the experiment, but you didn't actually build it. It's quite conceivable that you were duped, Professor. If you'll just let me, I can prove... Barak? Yes? I'll cooperate. I'll do whatever you say. I swear it. So please, should the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act is adhere to and protect my creation? He is not agreeing to that. Pray forgive the discourtesy of filling my hollow chalice at this critical juncture. Here's to my learned Nipponese friend. What? And his upcoming attempt to clarify the defense's position in the light of the accused's confession. I guess that's one way to look at it. I intend to formally assert that the experiment was nothing more than a conjuring trick, because the moment you do, the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment, the Prevention, will cease to apply. The prosecution will demand a rigorous examination of the machinery involved in order to establish the truth. However, if you acknowledge that the machine is genuine and instrumental in the victim's murder, any chance of investigating will be crushed, and confidentiality of the professor's hypothesis preserved. Oh shit. Well, Counsel, what is the defense's official position on this matter? What do we do? What Professor Harebrained, my client, actually asked of me was to prove that the explosion on stage was an accident and protect the secrecy of his hypothesis. There's no way to do that without implying the professor's guilt. Do I protect my client's life by asserting his innocence, or do I uphold my client's request but see him condemned? Either way, I can't avoid betraying his trust. Been silent long enough. Isn't talking your trade, my learned friend? His own knowledge of English escaped your confused Nipponese mind. Snaruhodo! There's no escape here. I have to make a choice. It's an impossible one. I have to give up on something, but what? Hence asserts that the defendant's instantaneous hallucination was in fact... Oh, shit. Here's the thing. I don't fucking know. I'm just trying to think through the whole thing. Because there's gotta be some, I'm just trying to think ahead, because it seems like... Like, I know you say you want to say trick, Naomi, but... I feel like there's some kind of trick at play here. Outside of the Conjuring trick. Because the question now goes to... Who fired the crossbow? Because it couldn't have been fired automatically. Because it obviously would not have been able to teleport inside the balloon. Not that. Because it was folded when we found it, so somebody left it there. Well, here's the thing. If we look at the photo, he's still in there. Not pointing up towards the balloon when the balloon got shot. That kind of stuck out a little bit. So that's what's kind of throwing me off. I have a... Because maybe this was a double. But then where did the double go? We don't know where the double actually went. Right? So what... make another save. This is like a lose-lose situation here. But something is up. Because there's obviously now 2 cages. But if we say it's a proper one, then that's making the assumption that the cage teleported into the balloon. Do we agree with the prosecution, though? I don't know! Something is wrong! According to this, it is pointing at the balloon, at this angle. I'll say... I am so torn. I can't make a decision. My indecisive mind is actually hurting me here. I'll say conjuring trick. Ah! No, I can't say it. My client places faith in me. I can't just let him down. What must I give up on is not the question you have to... Oh, wait. What I must give up on is not the question you have to ask yourself here. It's what can I protect? Susato? What? Well, that was a surprise. He was just as conflicted as me, Naomi. This actually is very fitting. This was super fitting for me. I wasn't expecting her. I thought it was gonna be like I thought it was gonna end up being Sholmes coming back. Hello again, Mr. Naruhodo. It's been far too long. Susato-san? But what are you... Hi-ya! Ah! My first Susato takedown in 6 months! There'll be time to talk later, Mr. Naruhodo. For now, we must concentrate on the task at hand. We're just working out not what I have to give up on, but what I can protect. Professor Harebrain. Yes? Yesterday you told me that science is the pursuit of truth. Well, my job is to pursue the truth too. Yes, of course. And personally, I believe you didn't stab Mr. Asmund. I think you've come to realize something yourself too, haven't you? That your experiment and the machine you built with the victim are questionable. The truth behind that is what we must both pursue now. You probably... Ooh, hi! And you toss it. So, you finally open your eyes. What? And as for you, Albert, you can't ignore this any longer. Having heard my learned friend's assertion, don't you have something to say?
Barak!
Lord Van Zeeks,
Gosh, I've never heard him speak that way before. In truth, there is one thing, something I've remembered that's of relevance.
what?
On the day it happened, just before I began the experiment, I saw a man near the stage. A man holding that...
I knew it! There had to have been somebody!
man holding that crossbow.
I beg your pardon?
Professor, did the man have any distinguishing features? What did he look like? Taller than me. And thin. Thinner than me, with straight hair, straighter and whiter than mine.
No, Hairbrain was not hiding anybody. I don't think so.
Let me see. One less lens than me, too. A monocle. Her stylish black monocle. But one thing in particular will help to possibly identify the man. You see, I know him very well. After all, he's the engineer who built my invention? What? Wait, what? No, Naomi, there was nobody else on the stage. Saw him on the ground. He built the machine? That's right. Mr. Asman introduced him to me a year ago. He's a man by the name of Enoch Drebber. Enoch Drebber?
Does this name mean something? Members of the jury seem flustered.
Not to name any scientist wishes to hear the hands of abomination.
Not to name any conjurer wishes to hear either. Who on earth is he?
I'm afraid this isn't the first tale of this nature that I've heard in scientific circles in connection with that name. There's talk of other flamboyant experiments that turn out to be nothing but stage trickery in the end. Obviously, the rascal's after the government's research grant money.
When magicians are in need of money, I have heard of them resorting to these underhand tactics.
Some acquaintances of mine with experience in such things have mentioned Enoch Drebber's name before.
The man is both an engineer and a magician.
Yes, we're dealing with unparalleled confidence trickster here.
That's Enoch Drebber for you.
Hairbrain got screwed. He never built the machine, and the trickster did. That's huge. So it's true then. My invention, my great machine, it was just a grand illusion? Considering what we just heard about Mr. Drebber's character, I'm sorry to say that sounds increasingly likely. So Hairbrain got tricked by this guy the whole time. That's the issue, Naomi. It's not... Hairbrain was a victim in this. He thought his design would work, truthfully. Even though no one else believed it, I wanted to. I wanted to believe that machine would function exactly as my hypothesis predicted. Which is why you were so opposed to it being investigated, I presume. I knew that if the machine was examined in detail, its destruction would give away my hypothesis. Obviously, I didn't want that to happen. At the same time, I knew that if it was found to be nothing more than a trick, than the work of deception, then everything I worked towards, all my research, all my dreams, my whole life would be over. I was terrified at the prospect. So you really had no idea then, did you? About the true nature of the machine that was built. and the true nature of Mr. Drebber.
I never questioned anything. I didn't want to question it.
It's entirely possible that Mr. Asman and Mr. Drebber were working together to use you as a means of fraudulently acquiring the research grant money. Damn. Harebrain's was super tricked.
When I announced my invention to the crowds that day, it was the finest moment of my career. I pulled all the levers and turned all the dials in exactly the way Drebber had described. When the smoke suddenly started billowing out, I panicked. I didn't know what was happening. I really don't know how the whole illusion was made to work. I don't know anything anymore. Let me confirm one final point with you, Professor. Do you now consent to the prosecution submitting the necessary paperwork to release your invention from the protection afforded by the Special Dispensation for Scientific Equipment Act? Yes, please go ahead. I'm very sorry.
It would appear that we shall have to suspend proceedings for the remainder of the day now. Lord Van Zieks,
My lord,
the court has newly been made aware another party whose involvement in this matter is critical.
yes, Mr. Drebber.
Gather information about the man. If possible, I should like him served with a subpoena.
With pleasure, my lord.
Now, counsel for the defense.
Yes, my lord?
When we reconvene, I shall be looking for one thing and one thing alone from you. Evidence that the defendant is innocent of the crime for which he presently stands accused.
I understand.
Good. In that case, this court is adjourned until tomorrow morning.
Is this the first time we didn't have to face the jury? Like, this has been the best jury yet. Just for the fact that they did not jump to conclusions so early. So, props to this jury. I give them that. I'm gonna wait till music plays. Then I gotta do my stretches. I took too long. Mr. Naruhodo! Ah, yes? I'm so sorry! Alright, music plays. Hey, I got too into it, and I'm doing one before bed anyway, so it's fine. You can enjoy this music while you hear my pain. There we go. And I adjust it so neck down more. Quack. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. Something cracked on my back. 6.
No.
Stop. 7. 8. 9. 10. Okay. That wasn't too bad. Well, actually, I feel in my shoulder now. Alright, I'm just sitting down briefly. Oh, jeez. Water well is... Oh! I have to do 2 sets of 10. So we'll advance dialogue a little bit. I'm so sorry.
I was wrong. You were right. I tricked you. You trusted me. I dragged you into my mess.
Oh, how did it ever come to this?
I'm so sorry.
Did you really have no idea, Professor? About what Mr. Jubber was really up to, I mean. About what he was really constructing. Naturally. That machine was the embodiment of my hypothesis of all my hopes and dreams. I had complete faith in it. Alright, in that case, I won't say any more. Now, sadly, the murder accusation against you still stands. So we must do as much investigation as we can before the trial resumes tomorrow. Well, thank you for doing so much for me. Alright, music change. I'm gonna do my second set of 10. Back to the ground. Oh, excuse me. Okay, round 2. It's nice hearing this music again. One. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Oh, all right.
I'm back. I'm on my bed. I'll pee soon too. I'm so sorry for arriving late this morning, Mr. Naruhodo. Arriving late? Didn't you receive my postcard? I wanted to let you know when I'd arrive.
Postcard? What postcard?
I hid it from you, Runo, so it'll be a surprise.
Iris.
Really? How heckin' dare? Well, did it work?
I was surprised, all right, especially when she threw me to the ground.
Oh dear, I'm so sorry. I was just so happy to see you again that it sort of slipped out.
Maybe we could stick to more traditional displays of emotion in future?
Susie's train was late into London Victoria this morning, you see. But we made the coachman really whip the horses hard so she didn't miss the whole trial. I was watching from the gallery for a while, but in the end, I'm afraid I couldn't contain myself.
Well, I'm glad you did it.
Oh!
How are you at my side in court gives me the strength I need to win. So, I'm, delighted to see you back in London.
Oh, you're too kind, Mr. Naruhodo. Delighted to be here. I hope I can continue to be of service to you.
Of course. So, what's brought you back? Mr. Mikotoba not protest?
Let's save all that conversation for when we're back at home, shall we? You know, I made one of my most special blends ever for this special occasion. Oh, Iris, how wonderful. I can't wait.
Yay! Happy end to start. So Sao-san was back in London. It's hard to describe how happy that made me feel at the time. So my elation? Our tale was about to take yet another extraordinary turn. Ooh. Yay! Court is adjourned. Okay, I am going to pee. I'll be right back. We'll keep going for like another hour, I think. Alright, I'm back. Oh, my knee. Ow. I am now comfortable. Excuse me. Alright, let's go. Oh my goodness, we're back here. 2:41 p.m. at Naruhodo's legal consultancy.
Oh, this room. It's been too long. Hasn't changed in the slightest, though.
Blah, blah, blah. Give me a sec. I did.
It's been 6 months, hasn't it? That's a long time for things to stay so familiar.
I didn't know when you might return. I wanted everything to be as you'd left it. It has been some 6 months, it's true.
So is your father alright, Susie? What happened? My father?
Yes, Professor Mikotoba. I mean, it was half a year ago, but that's why you went back to Japan. The telegram you received saying he'd fallen ill with a very high fever for some unknown reason.
That's right. So I was surprised to learn you'd be coming back so soon. Surprised but happy. I think I wrote about it in my letter to you. That was all a trick? My father's in fine health, and I'm obviously very relieved about that.
Well, we're all delighted to have you back.
It was quite by accident that I've been able to return to Europe, actually. Because of a very grand conference called the International Forensic Science Symposium.
The International Forensic... That's the same symposium Lord Strongheart mentioned.
Anyway, I've arrived safe and sound, and all that matters is I'm here now. After all, I haven't yet fulfilled my promise to you, Iris.
Oh! You must tell us everything that happened while you were back in Japan.
Yes, of course, I shall.
And there's one other thing. Something you wrote in your letter that particularly grabbed my attention. About you-know-who. About Kazuma.
I know. I'll tell you all that I can.
But first, we must look.
Oh, I'm so looking forward to making you some tea again, Mr. Naruhodo.
Which you'd think I wouldn't like, given that I'm not keen on bitter flavors, but it is Susana-san's tea. And it's amazing what a little cake or something on the side can do.
I'd dearly love to serve you some sort of Japanese sweet alongside your matcha green tea. Well, I suppose that's simply not possible given how long we've been staying here in London.
Well, I do like the little chocolates you put up with my tea. They go wonderfully.
Oh, Mr. Naruhodo, you would, wouldn't you?
Yona Pepet. That gives me a warm glow inside for some reason. In our spade talk, thinking back, that spade's been in here since we first moved in, hasn't it?
I'm sure I've told you before, Mr. Naruhodo, it's not a spade, it's a shovel.
No, shovels are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. It's a spade.
No, spades are for digging. That's for scooping up loose material. It's a shovel.
The great spade shovel war rages on. It'll never end.
You have water gently boiling on the stove, I see.
What's wrong somehow if I can't hear the water bubbling away? Got plenty of logs. It's not like we have to worry about paying for gas.
I want to open the window for fresh air when the fire's burning, though. You can't keep it closed just because it's cold outside. It'd be a matter of life and death.
I mean, the freezing winter air is a matter of life and death too, if you ask me. We learned that fact.
Oh well. Perhaps a nice cup of tea will warm you up later.
You see? I've been keeping my desk beautifully covered in papers as always.
You really must tidy it all up, Mr. Naruhodo. No more excuses.
Mr. Sato, the way I see it, all these papers building up on my desk like this are a reminder of my wonderfully diverse daily life. I like to leave them as they are so I never forget how lucky I am to have such varied experiences.
In that case, you should definitely have a thorough tidy. Then you'll be able to see your papers building up all over again and feel the joy renewed.
Still can't beat her in argument. I know I'm the lawyer here. You cannot win against the lady.
I see your Daruma still only has one eye filled in.
Well, we agreed that's something we do together, didn't we? You'll do it right now if you'd like. I'd be happy with that.
I rather like the anticipation, I think, Mr. Naruhodo.
Aww. Hold on. I'll look at Iris soon. The room though through there should be exactly as you left it. I've still never been inside. I've never been invited.
Of course not. Only Iris is allowed in my room.
No doubt I'll be hearing you two giggling away in there again then.
I'm so pleased to see all our sea creatures doing so well in the aquarium.
Yes, the prawns are still swimming and the anemones are still swaying. Obviously, I've been looking after them carefully. At first, I used to drool whenever I looked at those juicy prawns, but not anymore. They're like part of my family now.
I don't suppose they'll ever know how close they were to meeting their maker.
Aww.
It must be about a year ago now. I wrote a really long story based on some of my father's old notes. It's about one of Hurley's greatest exploits. Oh, it's okay, Yuna. To summarize what you missed, Yuna. So, it turns out, unbeknownst to Hairbrain, his entire experiment ended up being a deception, a trick, just not real. Hairbrain had nothing to do with it. It was the engineer of the machine that apparently the engineer was just working with the victim the whole time to make a trick. And I guess when we go back to that, it says something that the judge actually does feel for for Hairbrain, because all he told us was to find evidence to prove his innocence. That's all he told us to do. Like, I think the judge truly believes Hairbrain is innocent now, but just needs the evidence to make a decisive verdict. That's it. So we're in good shape, I think. And the jury was the best jury yet. They didn't make a rash conclusion. I loved it. It's about one of Hurley's greatest exploits. I called it the Hound of the Baskervilles. But then Mr. Sholmes forbade you from publishing it and put the manuscript somewhere nobody could get their hands on it. So nobody knows anything about it apart from Hurley and I. But for some reason, you knew the title of it, didn't you, Susie? Oh, it sounds so exciting! The Hound of the Baskervilles. I should love to read it. Anyone tell me, how did you come to know it? Yes, but I made you a promise that I would explain one day, didn't I? I think it's time. Oh! I'm only sorry I've had to keep it from you for so long. Oh shit. We're about to tell her her dad's dead. The Hound of the Baskervilles. It was completely by accident I came to know the title of your manuscript, Iris. It was a short while before we left Japan. I was cleaning Father's study and I saw something on his writing desk. A large box of papers. There was a label affixed to the box that was written in English. It read, "The Hound of the Baskervilles." What? My Baskerville story? Of course, I had no idea what it was at the time. But Father came in and...
Susado, what are you doing?
Oh, Father?
Did you look at those papers?
No, I simply read the label, that's all.
Well, put it out of your mind.
Sorry?
Forget you ever saw it, and certainly don't tell anybody else about this. Do you understand?
Ooh. But what was Iris's manuscript doing in Japan? I have no idea. But when I heard Iris mention the word Baskerville that day, the title just slipped out. I would never have guessed. It was an unpublished account of one of Mr. Sholmes' exploits. On return to Japan, I asked Father to explain. He refused to answer any of my questions. There was no sign of the big box in his office. Is the big box here now? That's really all I know about it. I've no doubt that Father has a very good reason for being so secretive about it, but still. I made up my mind to explain myself to both of you. Well, thank you for being so honest, Susie. Something's off. Is the box here now? Like, in the one we're not allowed to open? Hold on. Look at my armband. still taking good care of that armband, I see. I'm so pleased.
Well, yes, it feels like I wouldn't be me without it now, to be honest.
Oh dear, there seems to be a thread coming loose just there. Look. I'd be only too happy to mend it for you, Mr. Naruhodo.
Oh, thank you. Must have scraped it against something again. I'm always doing that.
Then take better care of it, please.
It was all going so well until I ruined it. Alright, let's start talking now. Oh jeez, we got so much. Alright, so back in Bryn.
My first...
I wake up early and I feel like sleeping quite yet. Aww.
That means I get you on my lap longer.
And you can listen to me longer.
When I first arrived back in Japan...
Oh jeez. Knowing me, I'll probably make you sleepy quick.
When I first arrived back in Japan, I really thought I'd never be allowed to return to Bryn. But curiously, after that awful trial at the Supreme Court, Father's mood changed entirely.
The awful trial. Oh yes. For the murder of Giselle Brett.
Ooh, you dressed as a man then, didn't you, Susie? Oh, well, yes. Since women are forbidden in the courtroom, I had no choice. Wow, amazing! I wish I'd seen it. Don't you, Bruno?
Yes, I suppose so.
I want to play at being a lawyer now. I could wear a false mustache, maybe.
I don't think any message can hide the fact that you're just 10 years old, Iris. Don't owe woe to that, Naomi.
No, don't oh well.
Something else I've been wanting to ask you, Mr. Sato. It's about the real reason why Professor Mikotoba summoned you back to Japan. You said in your letter was something to do with the convict's loot we found in Mr. Natsume's lodgings.
That's right. The very large dog collar we found with the bee emblem on it. Since Mr. Natsume included a drawing of the collar in the report he submitted about his time in Bryn. I understand that when Father saw the report, he turned as white as a sheet.
Why would that be then?
Father came to Bryn himself, of course, to study. It was some time ago now, but he stayed for 6 years. I can only imagine that something must have happened during that time. But if Venus was telling me what it was, then I tend to find the answers for myself. I decided that I, for one, won't keep any more secrets.
Oh! Oh my god, Naomi, no!
What?
Oh my god.
Susie?
Very meaningful looks Usato's giving Iris there. Forensic Science Symposium. Good luck, Yuna. Naomi's gonna do the teasing now. Lord Strongheart mentioned something about that symposium too. I think he said that investigative authorities from 40 different countries would attend.
Yes, and from Japan, my father and Judge Jigoku have been invited.
Oh my god, Naomi, no!
Something of an honor, I believe.
Well, Professor Mikotoba is the leading expert in forensic medicine in our country after all. But who's the other person you mentioned? A judge, did you say?
Yes, His Excellency Judge, Seishiro Jigoku. You've met him, Mr. Naruhodo. Last year, in the Supreme Court. You can't possibly have forgotten.
That terrible trial.
The terrible trial was when you accused of murder.
Ah, yes, I try to think of that as a positive turning point in my life these days. Oh, that actual judge is going with. Interesting.
Well, it was Judge Jigoku who presided over that trial.
If I'm perfectly honest, I'd be happy never to see that man's face again in my life.
Oh, well, anyway, as far as invited to the symposium, he agreed to me returning to Brand 2. He won't actually arrive until next month, but, well, I couldn't wait. So I pleaded with him, and in the end, he agreed to me going on ahead.
Oh, okay. So there was an actual reason that she was allowed to come back. Alright. Yes, about the symposium. These old Lord Stronger has put in an awful lot of work to make it happen. It's obviously very important.
I believe it is, yes. As I understand it, Lord Strongheart organized the entire event himself. I think he's hoping that by achieving exceptional results, he'll get the job of Attorney General.
Ooh. Going for Attorney General. Interesting. The most senior position in the British justice system.
Someone used his power to create the world's finest policing institution. That's what Father said anyway. Apparently it's Lord Strongheart's lifelong ambition.
Professor Mikotoba know Lord Strongheart personally, then, I wonder? Actually, Lord Strongheart gave me a long speech all about this very subject only yesterday. I sort of lost the will to live early on and didn't really listen to much of it. Mood.
I'm trying for you.
Gotta respect him. He has his lifelong goals, and he's doing what he can for it. He doesn't seem bad at all. Jaziel Brett. The woman whose unforgivable actions ended in me being wrongly accused of a crime I didn't commit. The murder of Dr. John H. Wilson. Yes, Jaziel Brett. That's a name I won't forget for as long as I live.
The extraordinary thing is, though, it seems it's a name we should all forget.
Sorry?
Since the incident, our government's intelligence systems have been investigating Miss Brett.
You know what? Ah! What did I do? Oh no. Don't smug.
It turns out that an Englishwoman by the name of Jaziel Brett didn't actually exist?
Oh, that clip. Don't worry about that clip. Didn't exist, but how can that be?
It was a pseudonym. Her real name was Shin. And she wasn't a visiting student either. That was a front.
A front?
Who on earth was she then? Miss A. Shin. Her name is literally all our intelligence service has been able to ascertain about her.
Huh. So she wasn't even a student. She's just a spy? Maybe? I'm thinking she was like a British spy then. Maybe not even British. It could be any country.
Nobody knows why or even how she came to be in Japan. It's a complete mystery.
But that makes no sense. It's no easy task to be accepted as a foreign student anywhere. What could the woman have been up to?
I'm afraid I really don't know. The only thing we can be sure of is that she had some business in our country that we don't yet understand.
Oh man, and this is turning into an international incident. Like a real international incident. And now she's been killed, while all the questions surrounding her existence remain unanswered.
I'm afraid so.
A. Shin.
Who on earth was she? And why do I feel as though
I've heard that name before somewhere. Was Shin? Like, don't tell me if I'm right or wrong, Naomi. I'm just leaving this as a thought. But was Shin one of the names on that list of people? I don't know. If it was, then that makes the conspiracy even crazier, right? But don't look it up, because I'm just guessing. So what? Yeah, I've forgotten it too. Alright, so what about Kazuma?
My friend Ray's trial? The reporter who actually killed Miss Brett said something very strange.
I know the truth. I know you had a hand in what went on. And that visiting student's fate. Nobody here in Japan knows anything about it. They don't know that the guy never made it to England, that he died on its steamship, that he'll never... Obviously, I couldn't ask him to elaborate at the time. But later, I visited the man in his prison cell and asked him what he was going to say about Kazuma-sama. What did you learn? After he died on the voyage to Great Britain, his body should have been unladen at the port of Hong Kong and passed into the care of the consulate staff there. Should have been? Well, it turns out his body never arrived. It just disappeared. Oh. Oh. The body is absolutely... Cosmo is definitely the guy Van Zieks is mentoring. What? Cosmo's body vanished? Our government tried to cover the fact up, it seems. They erected a grave on the cliffs by our hometown. Except, Kazuma-sama isn't there. Did Professor Mikotoba know about this? Yes, it would seem that he did. But he didn't tell me. They're still investigating what happened to Kazuma-sama's body as we speak. I just don't believe it. And what is this acute feeling of apprehension I have all of a sudden? Oh boy. Thinking back now, some of the things that happened on the SS Burya were definitely strange. I mean, after he died, we never saw his body again, did we? Could it be? Could it be that he's actually still alive? Stop it, Miss Naruhodo! It's too much to bear! I'm sorry, I didn't mean to... Just thinking about the possibility pains me so very much. Cast your mind back for a moment, Miss Naruhodo. When Kazuma-sama discovered, Mr. Sholmes was there, wasn't he? He definitely examined the body. I remember it clearly. You're right. Did Sholmes lie? Oh fuck. Mr. Herlock Sholmes is involved. It's not retcon, Naomi. It's Sholmes lied about his death. It would mean that Mr. Sholmes had lied to us. But there's no reason why he would possibly have done such a thing. I suppose that's true, yes. The idea that he might still be alive somewhere? It wants to fill me with hope, but I can't let it. Because if it turned out not to be true, then I'd be back at the bottom of that awful pit of despair again. Oh no! I'm terrified of what that might do to me. Oh, Mrs. Sato. I know she's given the idea the thought it deserves. It's just Sato-san we're talking about after all. So I probably shouldn't push it now. Oh. The devs really thought this through between the first and second game. Because we saw the hints in the first game, like with two characters, that ended up being in this one. Oh, I like what they did. So, Mr. Naruhodo, I'm ready to start investigating if you are. I've committed every detail about the case to memory. And Iris has told me about the disturbing happenings at the Waxwork Museum as well. So, you're fully abreast of the situation already, Mrs. Sato. I'd expected nothing less, to be honest. I would think our first port of call should be to investigate this Mr. Drebber. The engineer responsible for building the elaborate machine that was used to effect this extraordinary trick. Yes, a conjurer of sorts by the sound of it. well known in the fields of science and magic.
Then we need to go and arrest him.
Well, yes, he must know the truth behind this case, so I agree we really do need to find the man.
It sounds like it's key to tracking someone down. Which is a job for the police, or a great detective.
I'm supposed to guess who she might be thinking of. We don't have much time, so we need to get started straight away, I think.
Good idea. Well, best of luck then.
Oh, you're not coming today?
I'm going to Brixton Road shortly for the herb market. Let me know later how you got on, won't you?
That was a little abrupt. Well, the herb market must be strong. Gotta get them herbs. Oh man. Sholmes, what are you hiding? There's been a bunch of things that you've been so secretive on. Alright, Sholmes sweet first. Finally managed to remember this behemoth's name, the Great Analytoscope.
I don't think it was here when I left for Japan, was it?
Oh, is that right?
Yes, because it was with the pawnbroker.
Oh, of course.
Oh, this gave me a wonderful idea. I could pawn everything that's on your desk. The office would be tidy at last.
No, don't pawn my stuff. Don't even joke about it, Mr. Sato. You aren't joking, aren't you? No, she's not. This is Mr. Sholmes' famous violin. The one he found being sold for a song at a pawnbrokery. What's it called again? A Shodi something?
Oh yes, this wonderful insert features in the inventors of Herlock Sholmes. World famous Stradivarius.
Strato what?
Stradivarius, Mr. Naruhodo.
Stragivor.
Are you even trying now?
We'll come back to this another time, I think. All sorts on these shelves. Chemical apparatus, books, papers, and lots of things I've never seen before. Almost heaped up so high I can't help feeling that the whole lot is going to topple at any moment.
Looks as though it might topple, and yet it doesn't. The epitome of Mr. Sholmes' brilliance.
I don't get it. As it happens, I'm quite well practiced when it comes to stacking shelves myself. Just the other day, the shelf in my office finally gave way under the strain, though.
Looks as though it might topple, and it does. Yes, the epitome of your disarray.
Wow, why did you insult me? I really don't get it. You're klutz. My eye is always drawn to this big metal chest that Mr. Sholmes and Iris use as a coffee table.
Isn't it where Iris keeps her very important papers?
It is, so you'd think that they treat it with more care, really. Only the other day I saw Mr. Sholmes kick it.
Oh no!
I suppose something must have been frustrating him.
A shame to mistreat the furniture, though. Was it damaged?
The chest was fine, but Mr. Sholmes was doubled up on the floor for almost 10 minutes. Nice. That's what you get.
Oh dear, that is a painful tale.
I do like this fireplace. It's one of the best things I've seen since we arrived in the country, in fact. Although, I do yearn for a Japanese kotatsu. Putting your legs under a warm, blanketed table is so comforting.
Do be careful, Mr. Ardo. Don't simply put your feet into the fire, will you? You'd suffer terrible burns, you know.
I worry sometimes how Sao-san sees me. She sees you as a super klutz. Ah yes, Mr. Sholmes' curious collection of trinkets from the various mysteries he solved.
It's one of my favorite parts of this room, full of items with exciting tales to tell. I had to believe he's added to it since I last looked. Now, there's a mysterious pince-nez, mysterious little box, mysterious horseshoe, and mysterious biscuit.
I think that was some one might just be one of Iris's unfinished snacks. Iris's pretty little tea set out beautifully as ever. Look. Well, it's only by carefully taking care of a tea set that you can make good tea. Is that a roundabout way of telling me I need to tidy my desk? Oh, Mr. Naruhodo, you do overthink things at times. Don't call me out. This blackboard is where Iris scribbles down her latest ideas, isn't it? Let's see. Oh, she seems to have drawn a lot of little stick figures all lined up. Look. Cheap apples at the market is what all of them say. What? The little figures can speak? All your questions would be answered if only you would read this month's Rants magazine. So I'm the only one who can't make any sense of this? That's Iris's wonderful collection of medicines, potions, and chemicals. Just look at all the little bottles she squeezed onto the shelves. Yes, and there are charming little ribbons tied around the bottles, too. But the labels aren't quite so charming, are they? This one here reads Deadly Poison. Oh, I've been so excited about the idea of helping Iris with her experiments, you know? Just try to avoid any bottles labeled Deadly Poison or Highly Explosive. Yeah, you don't want to touch those. And last thing. If I remembered correctly, this large and imposing lump of iron is called a typewriter. I think that every single one of the adventures of electronics blossomed from this very machine. Oh, it's such a dreamy thought. I actually had to go on it the other day. The metal bars that move when you hit the keys got all tangled up somehow, and that made Iris angry. Sir Hodo, you're ruining my dreamy thoughts. Please don't do that again. Oh. Now I've made Susato sound angry as well. Welp, you ruined her fantasies. How dare. I guess we'll just go down the list. Oh, who's that? Oh, who's that standing beside Lord Strongheart? I wonder, I've never seen her before. Oh, spoil Unilis. Ah, the young champion of the court. You had some success this morning, understand? And you've thrown the entire government into disarray as a result. Oh, you mean because of Professor Harebrain's experiment? Sham science being demonstrated in London's great exhibition. The country's been made to look foolish, and now politicians are scrabbling to respond. Lord Van Zieks is in Whitehall as we speak, giving an emergency briefing. Oh dear, I didn't mean to cause any trouble. None of this is your responsibility. The government is entirely to blame for having been taken in. A special dispensation that prevents investigations at the scene will be annulled later today. Once that happens, the forensic investigation team will move in and deal with that scrap metal in no time. Scrap metal now, is it? Until later then, Lord Strongheart. Yes, thank you. She's probably the lead of the forensic team. Who was that? That was Dr. Courtney Sith, Scotland Yard's esteemed chief coroner. Oh, she's the coroner. She's leading the forensic investigation team's handling of this case. She was just delivering her report about the victim, in fact. Oh, I see. About Mr. Asman. Following the outcome of the trial earlier, I asked the coroner's office to reevaluate its findings. I don't have time to tell you what she concluded. If you want to know, you'll have to ask her directly. You can find her in the forensic laboratory. Ah, right. Now, what were you here to see me about? I can give you 7 minutes and 39 seconds of my time. so he's not running quite so spectacularly late anymore. As ever, the normal clock is diligently maintaining its rhythmic tick-tock today. Yeah, I think Yuna fell asleep.
Watching machinery work can be quite mesmerizing, can it? Ironically, you can completely forget the time. What I particularly enjoy is watching the enormous wheels of a steam locomotive turning. When I was a little girl, Grandmother often used to take me to watch the railway engines, you know?
It's an open fire for me. I could sit and watch the flames for hours.
So in our Hoda, we can install one in the office. An enormous wheel turned by an enormous steam engine.
Perhaps we could start with a simple fireplace? No. No simplicity. Oh, Yuna's awake. Justin behind that desk just must make you feel so important, don't you think?
Would you like to have an office like this, Mr. Naruhodo? With such a grand desk?
Who, me? No, I don't think so. Oh? Well, imagine if you suddenly found yourself needing the toilet. You'd have to go so far. That is not something I thought about. I guess that's a positive thing of my small room.
How true. How's the important people who work in ostentatious offices like this haven't considered such things?
I'm going to take that as a compliment. These very European suits of armor are still glaring at each other across the carpet, I see. In a way, they feel like guardians of the Lord Chief Justice's office.
I suppose they're rather like the lion dogs that guard shrines in Japan, aren't they?
Aren't they a bit too human to be called lion dogs?
Did you know it's a dream of mine to keep 2 cats one day?
I feel as though we've gone off at a bit of a tangent, don't you? I like having multiple cats. Someday I'd like to have 2. Couldn't read all of these books even if you were reincarnated 6 times over as a bookworm. Would Strongheart really have read all of these?
Thinking about it, Father's study is full of books that look as though they've never been read too.
Oh, really?
Peddlers of books are forever pushing their wares on him, you see. I think he's just too kind-hearted to refuse them.
The phrase for that in Britain, people would say they saw him coming.
Makes me wonder if perhaps the vast number of books on the shelves in here are a sign of Lord Strongheart's overwhelming kind-heartedness.
I'm not sure you could afford to have a kind heart if you had to keep Lord Von Zeeks in line, could you?
It works out enough.
What? Saw him doing what? What'd I say? I'm dumb. I don't know what I said. Present!
No, I'm sorry, Naomi!
I've learned Strongheart about this. The symbol of defense lawyer in the Japanese judiciary. Oh, I didn't expect you know that. I'm forgetful quick. We never accept foreign students before first researching the legal systems of their home countries. But such trinkets are merely for show. The only true measure of your worth is your performance in court. Yes, right.
I'm looking for the specific stuff.
Alright, let's talk. First about the investigation team. What exactly is the forensic investigation team that you mentioned before? The British Empire's police force must become the most exemplary in the world. For that to happen, it's imperative that we embrace forensic science and everything it has to offer. I first created the forensic investigation team a year ago now, unofficially of course, to pave the way.
goodness, a year ago?
At next month's symposium, I intend to present the results of their work to the world. Once I do that, the House of Lords will be powerless to oppose the creation of a full-scale forensics division. Once that happens, the position of Attorney General will be mine, and criminals will suffer dearly.
What do you mean?
Too long, those scoundrels have made a mockery of our legal system with false evidence and bribes. Blood and scum is about to be rounded up and burnt in the fires of hell.
Oh. You going all out.
I intend to see to it personally. By creating the finest police force the world has ever known to protect our honor and our future. Look at those eyes. He means every word.
I think his ambition is gonna get to him. That's my prediction.
Dr. Sith is an extremely reliable coroner. When I officially established Forensic Division at Scotland Yard, she would run as my right-hand woman. Now then, speaking of the symposium, Mr. Katoba.
Oh, yes, my lord.
Father should be on the high seas as we speak, make his way here to represent the Empire of Japan.
Yes, that's right. I understand you will arrive at the beginning of next month.
Are you acquainted, Lord Strongheart? Professor Mikotoba, I mean.
It was many years ago now, but yes, I remember Dr. Mikotoba very well.
Ah, they did meet. Why the doctor was killed. Also was resigned and his daughter and friend just refined them. Kazuma was a target, but he wasn't actually killed. He's hidden by prosecutor, but he's hidden by Von Zeeks possibly. I don't know, there's such a huge conspiracy going on at this point. I don't think that list would be a hit list. I don't know. Stop the adoption of forensic science? I don't think Kazuma's goal was to stop that. Interesting. Dr. Mikotoba. My memory serves, it was some 15 years ago now that your father came to Britain as a visiting student.
It was the year I was born, so yes, 16 years ago in fact.
Susanoo was only 16? Oh, assassins. I don't know. I really don't know.
Mikotoba was a young practitioner of forensic science, and Jigoku accompanied him as a young, promising judge.
Oh, he knows both of them.
The punctiliousness and politeness of the Japanese at the time impressed us greatly. Not that I wish to imply impoliteness or carelessness on your part in any way.
Stop all this from happening. I see. But... right.
Dr. Mikotoba studied forensics at one of London's large hospitals. St. Sinners, if I'm not mistaken. Dr. Sith was also there then, as it happens.
Then Dr. Sith knows my father, does she?
She was a young medical assistant at the time, so I doubt their paths crossed regularly. But I have no doubt they knew each other superficially. After After all, Dr. Mikotoba was here studying his subject for some 6 years in total.
6 years? That's a long time to be studying abroad, isn't it? I lived with my grandmother those years. So he left his newly born daughter behind and went overseas for 6 whole years? It was a rather turbulent time at home.
Oh,
Perhaps father wanted a reason to get away.
what do you mean? Why? Family trouble. Well, clearly something was going on at the time.
Geez, 16 years ago at this point? Yeah. And Sholmes is becoming more and more suspicious, and I don't like that. Lord Von Zeeks. I wanted to ask you about Lord Von Zeeks, actually. I heard that his older brother was killed some years ago by a mass murderer known as the Professor who targeted nobles and royalty. Is that right?
You Japanese are a thorough lot. You've done your research well.
Yes.
And you could say it was that very incident that gave rise to the Reaper.
What? Why?
When his brother, Clint Von Zeeks, was murdered, it was just after young Berk graduated from the University of London and became a prosecutor. When obvious criminals who managed to evade conviction in court started disappearing, rumors quickly spread through out the capital. Londoners started to say that whenever Berk Von Zeeks went, the ghost of his dead brother wasn't far behind.
Oh. So it's not that Barrack is the Reaper, it's that his dead brother is the Reaper. So Lord Von Zeeks isn't the Reaper, it's the ghost of his brother?
Ever since that time, he became a very aloof figure in London's legal circles.
Oh yes, Lord Strongheart.
Go ahead.
It's about Professor Harebrain's experimental machine. We'd like your permission to examine the remains if possible.
Are you well versed in science then?
Not in the slightest. In fact, you could say I was barely aware of the subject at all until recently.
But the special dispensation legally preventing investigation of the machine is currently being annulled.
In a few hours, Dr. 16 Forensics Extra will begin their own investigation. I suppose until then,
There's no harm in you looking at the wreckage,
as long as you touch nothing. Thank you. Being able to look at it is better than nothing. Alright, we can look at the wreckage again. Now I'll be able to see it too.
Your time is up.
You'll have to excuse me now, I'm afraid.
My next engagement calls.
We're extremely sorry to have troubled you when you were so busy, my lord. You're going to bed now. Sleep well, Yuna. Pat pat. Blah, blah, blah.
Important matters to attend to in preparation for the symposium, you understand?
Okay, we're done here. Oh yeah, there's a forensic lab. Alright, let's go to prison. Oh. Oh no. Where do you get the chalk from? What's he doing? He's... Oh my, the whole wall of the cell is covered in mathematical equations. He's still writing more now. Professor, sorry to interrupt. Oh, Mr. Naruhodo. And who's this young lady? My name is Susada Mikotoba. I'm Mr. Naruhodo's judicial assistant. It's a pleasure to meet you, Professor. Oh, if only only I were a fine young woman like you sooner, this would have happened.
No, that's not logical. That makes no sense at all. Oh dear, I'm sorry if my presence here upsets you.
I owe you an apology too, Professor. I didn't manage to deliver what I promised you I would in court this morning.
Oh no. The whole miserable affair. It'll happen because I've been such a complete and utter clot. Professor Hairbrain? What have you been working on in your cell? Oh, you mean that? Oh dear, how embarrassing. I was suddenly struck by an idea, you see, I simply had to write it down. But what was all I had to hand? Oh, is it some new hypothesis? Something to surpass super high voltage instantaneous kinesis, maybe? No, actually, this is my autobiography.
What? How?
Your autobiography? How I was diddled and fiddled! You could not have chosen better words than diddled and fiddled?
See, you got the owl owing to that.
How I was diddled and fiddled by Albert Hairbrain. I found I can represent my odd fortunes with only odd numbers and the bitches set in simultaneous equations. Really? I'm going to have to pay back all the loans I took for the kinesis machine, you see? So it's going to be a new serial publication for next month. Part 1, An Odd Birth and Odd Upbringing.
Oh my god, Naomi, bad.
Can't beat the man's optimism, that's for sure. I see. Well, for now, would you mind if we talked a little more about the case? Oh, yes, of course. I've been working through the numbers. I was diddled. I was fiddled by the pair of them. Stop saying you were diddled and fiddled.
I don't like it.
By Asman and by that aloof engineer Drebber. We're not going to have to sit through an explanation of all these equations, are we?
Alright, let's just talk. This morning's trial.
Everything I believed has been turned on its head. My research, Mr. Asman, the kinesis machine, my hypothesis even. I'm sorry it's come to this. There was really no other way. No, it's not your fault. I wanted to protect my work, but in the end, there was nothing worth protecting. It was never my intention to deceive anyone. I didn't want to trick the public. No, of course you did it. In court this morning, I realized something.
Oh?
If you've done something wrong without knowing it, you still done something wrong. Logically, it makes no difference if you were aware of it or not. Ignorance is a poor excuse. The blame still lies with me. Oh, Professor. He believed in me this morning, you know. Barrick did. He believed in my hypothesis. Well, I think that was just a necessary factor in the prosecution establishing its case. No, Barrick wouldn't do something like that. I'm sure he genuinely believed it.
Did he? I don't know about that.
I think I understand now. Why was the decided take on the prosecution in my trial, I mean?
Oh?
What was his motivation? After the terrible accident happened, nobody would believe in my hypothesis anymore. Not the police, not the prosecution service, not any lawyers even. I feel like I dealt some kind of finishing blow there. So if any other prosecutor taking the case, if it was anyone other than Barrick, I'm sure the prosecution would have declared my hypothesis a complete and utter nonsense. And in that case, you would have been declared a fraud yourself, Professor. Exactly, which would have been a fate worse than death for me. Barrick insisted that I was a proper man of science from start to finish. You think that's why he... I know him very well indeed. Is
an extremely kind-hearted soul. But that extremely kind-hearted soul spent all morning trying to paint him as a murderer, didn't he? Contradictory. Well, admittedly, that part of the analysis appears to have some flaws in it. What about the whole Reaper side of things? How does that fit in with this kind-hearted soul idea? I don't know. Alright, Asmon. Do you think he set out to trick me from the very start? I'm sorry to say, that does seem likely, yes. You were used. When I first met him, he introduced himself as a wealthy financier. He looked over the paper I'd written. He said my work would benefit all humanity and must be pursued. He was so enthused. He was so emphatic. But in reality, he was the mastermind of some vast criminal network, it seems. I still can't believe it. This machine is essentially a set decoration for some stage magic? It probably didn't require a large amount of investment, actually. But the scale of it wasn't just some small trick. It's a very elaborate feat of deception. All young scientists are full of hope about their burgeoning ideas, full of zeal. But none of us have any money! We want to do research, but we can't afford it. Oh, that's life these days. Many of us take on barely legal part-time work to try to earn just a few measly pennies to carry on. To get through all of that, only to be taken for a complete fool. It's too rotten to believe. It is, I agree. And that's why we have to find those responsible, bring them to justice. Mr. Asmon is no more, of course, which leaves only the engineer. Mr. Enoch Drebber. Yeah, let's talk about the engineer. Is he an engineer or a magician or a swindler? It was about a year ago when Mr. Asmon first brought Drebber to meet me at the lab. Since then, I've met him many times to discuss details about the kinesis machine. But at no point did you have any inkling that he was just an illusionist? Oh, he definitely wasn't just an illusionist. What do you mean? He was a wealth of deep scientific knowledge. No question that the man's a genuine scientist is instantly apparent in conversation. I see. But the wretched man deceived you, Professor. It's unforgivable. We must do everything we can to find him and bring him to justice. Are there no more clues that you can give us as to his whereabouts? Well? I'm sorry, we only ever discussed the kinesis machine. Nothing else. Although, just once... I did visit his workshop. What workshop? Drebber's enormous fabrication lab, where he constructed my great machine. That's kinda huge. Where is it? Why didn't you mention this before? Enoch Drebber's workshop. There's every chance we might find the man there.
Where the heck is it?
So you've been to Drebber's place of work then? Yes, just once, you understand. It was an enormous place. Plenty of room to construct the kinesis machine, you see. Where can we find it? We have to go there at once. There's a good chance we'll find Drebber there. Oh, yes, definitely. I'm sure, as in, I'm sure you're not going to want to hear this. I have absolutely no idea where the workshop is at all. What do you mean? I'm so sorry. I was more than half expecting that. You see, I was blindfolded in the carriage the entire way there. Oh. Okay, that's fair. He blindfolded you? He wasn't taking any chances then. The place was incredible. The pinnacle of modern engineering. Even the oil he used was the very best. A special French machine oil that's impossible to obtain in Britain.
the indescribable scent of that imported oil. Perfumers across the world should forget their secret formula and use that instead.
Is he getting turned down by foreign oil? I don't like it. What do you think, Mrs. Sato? Are you the machine for your next birthday?
I've never used any kind of perfume, Mr. Naruhodo. I'm not sure I'd like to start with that. I don't suppose you know even part of the workshop's address, Professor? You don't have a business card from Mr. Trevor, for example?
The man was clearly very cautious with Sato. I'm sure he's...
Yes, I do. He can use business card once. It's right here. Look.
What?
Let me see that.
Throw etiquette to the wind, why don't you?
Enoch Drebber, engineer. I'm afraid that's all it says. There's no address.
No. Oh, well, I can't say I'm surprised. Still, this could be useful. So Enoch Drebber's business card, though, it only shows the main name. There is no address. Let's take a look at it. Oh. This dark smudge here.
I think perhaps it's machine oil.
Ah, yes, possibly. Professor Harebrain mentioned something about the oil Mr. Drebber uses, didn't he? So especially important, very high quality oil that's impossible to obtain in Britain.
Yes, that's right, but more importantly, it's more fragrant than the finest perfume. So, excuse me a moment.
Is she sniffing the oil?
It doesn't appear to have any scent at all.
Don't worry, I expect that's just because there's such a tiny amount on here. And there's a smear of machine oil on the reverse. So there was something else. Alright, well we have 3 places to go to. But my throat's starting to give way. So that is going to do it for tonight. I'm gonna get a bit of rest. And then we'll be here tomorrow again for more Resident Evil as we finish up. As we finish up the Claire second route. I'm gonna try to finish it up. No, I will finish it up. I should be able to. I feel confident. I think I can do it. Yeah. That's the plan tomorrow. But yeah, night-night, Naomi. I'm gonna end it right here since you were the only one here at this point. So, take care, have a good night, and I'll see people tomorrow for Resident Evil 2. Take care. Bye.